Hey. Hello everyone. Excuse me. Welcome to another Project Feline livestream. My name is Raymond, working on a parkour anime-styled anime-styled parkour game, Project Feline. Sorry, messed up my little intro there. And today we're going to be doing more level design on this all new map. Getting it open right now. This one. There we go. So I've been doing a little bit more work on it since the last stream. Let me think. What have I done to this since last time? Yeah, I've changed this front bit a little, and I've gone out of the house and gotten more reference pictures. because this whole location is based off a real location on a real train station, and I thought it'd be a cool place for Gabby to do some parkour. So yeah, we're gonna keep constructing it. I'd say we're almost finished. I definitely am spending more time on this than I thought, but I really want to like make sure it's all built very nicely and all that. So yeah, hopefully like in the next few days I can wrap this up. And I thought, yeah, let's just get some work done on it. So yeah, how we all doing, my dudes? Nice. Yeah, it's a new stream time. I thought trying to do one early. I'm really not. Yeah, so it's I'm really not a morning person at all, and it's like 9 in the morning at the moment. And yeah, I kind of didn't sleep. So this stream is brought to you by my sleep deprivation and by donations from people like you. So I want to give a huge thank you once again to Mindcube Twitch for his $20 donation. He's been so kind. He's been leaving like $20 donations, I think, just before every stream for like the past, how many streams? Like 3 or 4 streams or something. It's been crazy. So I really appreciate the support, dude. Appreciate it so much. If you guys would want to help support the stream at all, it's not mandatory, but I appreciate it. There's a donate button down in the panels down below. Just answering some questions. Coolbutt says, or asks, how do I plan to decorate the actual final levels? Not sure yet. I guess the same way you decorate any level. I want to see if I can perhaps, well, I'll show you what the real place looks like. I'm not going to necessarily emulate this one for one, because this is very detailed, of course. But I would like to perhaps style it in a certain way and see if I can reuse, like make a few assets that are reused a lot, like these little things. I don't know what these are called, but yeah, like that'll be easy. That's just like a cylinder, and I can place those around. Yeah, so I've taken more photos around the back because there's like this whole back alleyway that I didn't get photos of last time, and I thought that'd be a cool little area. So and that kind of leads. It's a really cool place, this, because it kind of all funnels back into this main station bit, and I thought it's got all these facets, and I thought it was really cool. So that's another view of the station from over here. So if I look down this way, you can kind of almost like see the, if I can like line up that shot, you can kind of see like a similar thing going on. But yeah, I want to like, for these storefronts, I think it'll be really cool, because I'm thinking of just making, like, if this level is good, and if it's play tested and people actually enjoy it, then I want to take it to maybe constructing like a template storefront of something like this, and then just having slots for the branding and material colors and stuff. So there can be like a little header at the top where you can put a logo PNG there or something, and then maybe like it has like a few set colors that you can change, and then I could just copy paste like that storefront template on all of the other stores, and then just change out the logos. That's kind of how I'm thinking I might do it. But I'll see if I can find, because yeah, Jet Set Radio does something interesting with its stores where it only, yeah, so like they have a lot of storefronts like this, but they're very like, you don't really see the inside of the shop. It's just like a front. And the windows are all just textures, so like the inside of the windows and that. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing something similar. But yeah, that'll be for later though. That's come a bit later. For the now, we're just gonna block it out. And I need to decide what area I'm going to build. I think I'll start doing this alleyway. I'll start blocking that because I haven't started on that at all yet. I'll do a bit of exploring though, so I'll show you guys the works. So we got like the 3 layers of stuff, and then we've got into this sort of dining area, and I've put windows. I put in the windows here now because there's actually windows here, and I forgot to put those. So now there's these little windows that you can look out, and you can like do a thing where you can kind of run on the outside of them, and that's really cool. I like being able to do that, but you do get stuck in between the gaps, so I might have to do something about that. But you can like slide into here, you can get on the roofs of these little buildings, and then you exit through here, and I was working on this door a bit the other day. And then there's the escalators from last time, You can grind down these, and I love doing that. It gives me some thrills. But yeah, so I'm gonna start working on down this way now, because that goes down here. I got nothing here yet. So let's get to it. Alright, what am I doing this stream? Level design, to answer your question. Oh, someone created a Twitch account just to watch me. Hell yeah, dude. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I created a Twitch account just to stream this stuff, so I suppose we're one and the same. Oh, someone, Aussie Games, you got finished painting a house. Hell yeah. My grandma used to, when I was like a kid, she used to, when she needed to give me something to do, she would like get a bucket of water and a paintbrush and tell me to paint the house. And I would just go on and like paint it with water, thinking I was being productive, and it would keep me busy for hours. Alright. Let me get my reference up. So I gotta like construct this somehow. But yeah. So, the maps aren't really, I don't think I've got any good maps of the alleyway bit. I'll have to like check, because I don't know if that's I think it's at an angle, but I'm not sure. Wait, why can't I see my maps properly? Oh, I gotta turn off my fog. There we go. Alright, well that's yeah, okay, so that's kind of angled there. Jesus, that's really glitchy. So yeah, I think it's this. So yeah, okay. So this I think is I think that's filled. I don't know how far that comes actually. I didn't get a photo of the. Oh, you can kind of, on the side here, see like how much further that comes. Okay, so that's at a bit of an angle actually. So I'll get some of them triangles out from my meshes. I'll get one of these. So I usually use these to create angles, because I don't like rotating objects, because degrees, snapping them to a good amount, it's like kind of tricky, because it's, yeah, long story basically, but yeah, you can snap degrees at increments of 5, but it's in like, you know, it's like a spherical radius, it's not like a, you know, a size like this, it's like degrees. So then you can do it by divisions of 360 instead of divisions of 5. But none of them I find are quite precise enough. So I try to just, like, if possible, not rotate things and just use these oblique shapes to create angles instead. And that seems to work most of the time. Let me just get this. Yeah, I'll turn this map on. So I think that comes a bit, yeah. Well, hold on. I think this comes out a bit, and there's like another one that goes this way. Yes, I think that's the case. Something like this. So it kind of, yeah, like this. So it kind of creates like a, just like from looking here, I know that there is definitely some kind of gap. And I was up here like the other night. And yeah, there's like a bit of a gap there. So I don't know how big to make that. But yeah, Oh, Red Silicon asks, how's it going? That's going alright. I kind of didn't sleep, so I'm a little tired. But, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm trying to just get work done, mainly. That's usually what makes me happy. Let me think, what else could I say? A little hungry, but I try to eat. I had like I like woke up and I had like 20 minutes and I was like, oh crap, because I overslept a bit, so I was like, oh damn it. So I had to like quickly eat some toast. So hopefully that'll sustain me for a bit. Usually does, but hopefully we don't. Hopefully it works as always and it keeps me pretty satisfied for the moment. What else? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm fine, I guess. How's everyone else? A cause of no sleep, or because I can't sleep? I don't know if that's a question or sometimes. Oh, okay. I think that's just like a statement. But no, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes. Well, yeah, I don't know. I just have problems getting to sleep usually, and it's like, I think yeah, because what time was it? I think because yeah, it's weird because my usual schedule is that I'll stay up to like 3 or 4, and then I'll like wake up at 11 or something, and because I was streaming, for me it's like 9 a.m. for the new. I don't know. I just want to try this time because I don't know. I always want to experiment and see like when are more people awake. So 7 p.m. PT was working, but then I was also like people from the UK were like, oh, this is like middle of the night for us or something. I was like, okay, I'll see what I can do, but it's kind of difficult because it's like, you know, I'm on the other side of the planet. So I don't know, I'm giving it a try. But yeah, no, then my body is definitely not adjusted to it. So yeah, so I kind of like, I think it was like 12, and I was like, okay, I should probably sleep. And then I tried, and then I kind of didn't, and I was just like, damn it. It just, yeah, I just can't stop thinking usually. Bit annoying, but you get used to it after a while. So, yeah. Alright, okay, so that kind of comes here. Alright, I just want to see if that's the right width. It's a pretty narrow alleyway, actually. That's like, I want to say 4 meters-ish. Alright, so we'll need more of these. So it's hard to see because there's like a line and then it kind of stops being drawn on the map. So it's a bit hard to get a grasp for where that is exactly. But yeah, Google Maps is not really reliable, as you could probably see, because according to the map, this is like 1 meter thick, but it definitely isn't. So take that for what you will. It's a bit irritating because I had to get like, I think I've got like 4 or 5 different maps of the same area, and they're all different. And it's like, can we just like pick a scale and stick to it? That'd be great. But I guess not. I don't know. Maybe there's some reason for it, but yeah, it's a little irritating. Let me think. I wonder how I'm gonna do the floor. Maybe I'll duplicate one of these. Oh, hey, damn it, I'm not gonna butcher these names, but Leonardo da Vinci, hey man. Welcome to the chat. Hope you enjoy your stay. Yeah, I noticed there's like there's like a lot of people from the US, I think. So yeah, that's when I usually try and sync up my stream times, because from my YouTube analytics, everyone's on the, West Coast? Yeah, the West Coast, usually. So it's like, okay, I'll try and sync it up for them. And that's kind of easier to do than like Greenwich Mean Time, for example. So, yeah, it's a bit interesting. Hold on, I saw a question that I think I missed. Do I know Japanese? No, I don't. I'm an Australian. I know Australian and I know C#, and those are the only languages I know. So no, I don't know any Japanese. If I could, asks Red Silicon, what songs would you use for the game? I would use like freaking Owl City Fireflies if I could, but I can't. That's gonna be expensive to license. But I would so use that if I could just use any song on the planet, and I'd use a lot of songs from the Sonic 06 soundtrack as well. If I could use any song, so yeah, I'd say yeah those two, like Owl City and Sonic 06's soundtrack, and maybe like some like meme, I don't know, like Deja Vu, that song for some bits. I forgot. Okay, so this is pretty long actually, this alleyway. So I'm gonna need to make this very big. So that like, oh wait. Okay, so that's a bit higher. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, you can kind of see the edge of the building up here. It's hard to tell because it's really dark when I took this. So yeah, I'm not sure how to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll just see how this gets built, I guess. Is a 0.1 millisecond run possible? Yeah, it'll probably. Yeah, probably when the speedrunners get a hold of it. Oh damn! Ugh. Coffee got a bit stuck there. Just go down, Jesus. Go to my stomach. Alright. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, I might need some more coffee. Stop going down the tubes properly. But yeah, I reckon Deja Vu might work pretty nice. Pretty good track. What else? I don't know. I have like a big music library that I want to try and emulate. Hold on. Did I make this shorter? I don't remember making this shorter. Alright, I'll get rid of this for now. And I might get rid of that too. I'll fill these in later. I'll get the walls up first. I guess this will be a cool. You can kind of wall run between the alleys maybe, and I could put like some kind of balcony up top here maybe that leads somewhere. And this is like where the train platform is. So I want it so that if you fall in there, it's like instant death. It's like something to avoid. And then you can kind of wall run your way back over to this side, to the main area. So yeah. Do I bring this over? I might bring this over a bit. And I might... okay, that's a little easier to see. I'll like fill in this bit and just see how that looks. Wait a sec. Alright, that's sort of, I mean, alright, that's kind of close. That's very thin though. So is this a level or the hub world? This is a level. But the level design philosophy is going to change a bit. I'm experimenting with a more hub style of level, but it's a level. Trying to think of an example. It's not like a Sonic level like my previous ones. It's more like a little, I guess, slice of a little world that you kind of explore, but you want to get through it as quick as possible. So I'm going to be putting collectibles around, and the goal of the game in this level will be to collect them all using your parkour moves before like the time limit runs out and the cops show up, which is sort of like the premise at the moment for this map. And I don't know, it came to me quite naturally. I just kind of felt that was a cool direction to take it in. It didn't require me to overthink the hell out of it for me to think it was like worth trying. So I thought, all right, well let's just like give it a shot and see what kind of ideas that come on. And yeah, it was definitely seemed a bit less stressful than my other levels, so I thought it'd be pretty fun. And I thought, well, yeah, the first thing I might base it off is this, location that I'm quite fond of. It's weird. I was up there with a friend the other night, and he like had these great words. He used like a cool sentence to describe it. He's like, this place, it's sort of like the city center for a city that doesn't exist. It's really cool because it looks like a city when you're there, but just outside those buildings, it's like suburbs instantly. So it's a really small little city center, but it's surrounded by suburbs. And it just has a cool vibe to it. And I thought, yeah, that'd be fun to try and build. Okay, so this is the same alleyway here, but from the other end. So that over here is where those stairs are. Now I'm coming through to the other side. And it kind of curves a bit when it's leading off to the station, I think. So I might need to make this a bit wider. So how big? That's close. Yeah, I'd say that's about as wide as it is. But it like kind of goes down. It's not like straight. So I need to like have a floor that's angled too, which will be kind of funky. So let's give that a try. Alright, so I'm gonna use this shape again. I'm gonna see if I can make this into the floor, but have it like at an angle. So it's like that, kinda. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit hard to line up. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see how it... I don't know why it does this sometimes, but like the grid will like not line up precisely when it feels like it, and I don't know why that happens. A little irritating, but I usually just have to reset these numbers, usually, but sometimes it's still a bit funky. Like, yeah, you can see I can't like get it to the edge of this. Maybe I'll just copy paste these numbers. That should fix it. Alright, okay, that should be a bit better now. Oh, hold on, let me get my, I heard a noise. Stealth Miner, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate it. I just gotta get my, I didn't have my chat window open for some reason there. I have like a bigger chat window and a smaller chat window, so I've got my big chat window open now. So, hooray. Yeah, so I'm just like looking at some questions here. Yeah, so I do get this comment a lot where people are like, oh, this doesn't match with the character, and it's like, yeah, it's like the default grid. I don't imagine any character would match with this. And this is like for blocking, usually you'd use meshes like this. You don't put any detail in because it is it's not very smart to do that, because you might construct a level, and if you were to do it in full detail and then playtest it and realize the level sucks, then you kind of have wasted a lot of time. So usually levels go through a more iterative process, and that involves like some kind of concept and then blocking, which is this phase. So I did something like that in my last video on YouTube for a different map, and I had like the concept stage as a video and the blocking phase as a video. For this level, of course, I didn't do a concept art for it yet because I didn't really need to, because I have reference to go off. But I'd like to do something eventually. But I want to first prove that even if this is even like a good idea in the first place, because you never know. You don't want to commit to something and then like 3 months down the line go, oh, this is like a bad idea and I've just wasted 3 months. So yeah, I try to be very careful with that sort of thing. So you'll see that a lot of my game for ages has kind of looked very rough and work in progress, and that's deliberate. It's It's not that I wanna. It's not that I don't want to work on those cool, more graphical things, but it's just not a smart idea to do that at the stage I'm at. Because this is a very. It's not like I'm making like an established game franchise. Like I'm not making a Call of Duty game or something. So because I don't even know what a Project Feline game might be yet. So I want to try and keep things minimal and try and make something substantive before I make something pretty. So yeah, hopefully that kind of explains it a bit. Because I'm sure, yeah, I'd imagine most people get what this is, but I know that some people who haven't really done that much game design before might be like, why is everything blue? And yeah, that's a totally, I could totally get why that might be confusing. Alright, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but yeah, so the alley kind of goes down this way. So I might need to like adjust these walls to better meet the, what's it called? Actually, no, these need to be longer, actually, because this is where the road is. So I took that photo from this corner, and there's the road sort of to the right. So that's sort of going down this way. So I need to somehow, yeah, bring that down here. I think that's around the height I need. So let's pop in and see. Oh, I don't want to grind. I want to like walk down. Okay, yeah, this feels like kind of similar to how it really feels. And then you come out around here. I don't know. I'll have to go and make. I might need to extend this out a bit. Yeah. Oh well. Okay. So it kind of curves. I kind of don't like how it does that, but I'll see what I can try and do. Is that... Oh, okay, thank God, because that's just like just on the edge, so it doesn't clip into anything on the inside of this area. So that's perfect, because then what I can do is do something like this. I can make a straight line, sort of wall, and then try and bring it, and then like make another triangle, sort of angling that way, so there's a bit of a curve in it. So we'll see how that goes. So I'll bring that. I think I'll just fill in this little area, I suppose. I might bring that over a little more. Yeah, I'll put that here. Oh yeah, so these ground markings, this is just from Google Maps. I have some other ones from different sources, because like I said, Google Maps aren't reliable, but neither is any other map. Like, they're all slightly different, and it's a real pain. But I've managed to like try and line them all up and put them around, so I can kind of like lay out the basic design of it. That took like a solid few days to get set up though, I'll say, because yeah, like just trying to find accurate data was quite difficult. But yeah, no, I managed to like, it's not perfect, but I've tried to do my best. But yeah, that's sort of what those are. But then they disappear when I launch the game, of course, because you don't want to see them in game. Alright, so this is shape, yeah, this is sort of looking like how it should. I guess the real, I don't know what actually is in the real alleyway when you go this high, because you can't go this high, of course. You can only go on the ground, but maybe I can put some cool stuff if you wall ride up. Like if you roll right up that section. Damn it. Yeah, this way. Like if I somehow wall ride like that, I don't know, maybe I could have some cool thing there. But yeah, let's keep going. So I'll make a floor, that'll be nice to have. Except, is the floor meant to be this thin? I don't know, it feels a bit too thin. I mean, I guess that's yeah, I mean, I guess that's like 2 meters-ish. So maybe it does get thin. Yeah, let's get some more curves. So let's put that in. Wait a sec. Oh, damn it. There we go. So I gotta make like a... Yeah, so if I do something, if I put it at this angle, I can make like a wall that starts curving. And I'm not gonna do it as curvy as the map, so I'll just like try and shortcut it or something. So I'll just do something like this. And then rotate that and put the other one on this side. So then we got like some kind of... Oh no, how do I get up there? Okay, so it's kind of like that. But I feel like it's a little too thin. I gotta widen that up a bit. So I might just take this whole area perhaps and bring it over. And then I gotta make that a bit wider. Can I make it? Can I get up there? Can I glitch my way up? Oh, yes. Okay, sweet. Alright, that's a bit more comfortable. Nice. Yeah, that's much better. So yeah, I can imagine this would be a cool little area to go down. And oh, wait, I gotta get the floor. And then I think I'm gonna like block it off here probably, and like get, because there's like a staircase that goes back into the station this way, and I haven't built that yet, so I'll need to do that. I have a few photos of it, so that's good. But let's just take this over. So yeah, so now we can like walk to that bit, and then let me get a... Alright, so that's like there's like a staircase just around here, and there's an elevator. I actually didn't notice that. There's like a pedestrian crossing like here. So how am I gonna do that? Because there's the train line, of course, which is this thing, this bit. So yeah, alright. This will be kind of, yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly how this will line up, because there needs to be like something that goes down here and back this way, so underneath. So what I might actually go back here and start trying to like bring them together somehow. Do I have a good... Okay, this is sort of like what I'm after. Okay, so this comes out a bit too far. Yeah, okay, something did seem a bit off about that. Except, wait a second. Alright, well, yeah, because I thought this, okay, so this is actually, it is meant to be raised up, because I forgot this kind of is all elevated, this whole area. So, that kind of goes, I don't know if it's through here. I think it is, yeah. Yeah, so, alright. I have an idea on how I might approach this. So we'll get one of these. Because this is like a storefront here. I remember it's like a clothes store. So we'll get something like that over. Oh, sorry, I missed a few questions here. When you first play the game, how will it start? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. If you mean like when you like buy Project Feline and boot it up, what'll happen? I'm not sure yet. When you start this level in particular though, you'll be greeted here, and there'll be like some kind of little sequence maybe. But I want it so that, because this is the entrance to the train station, and you're kind of barred from entering, and you need to go collect some cash money around the map to be able to get entrance to it so that you can escape the city. And that's kind of just the idea for how this level will start. And you had another question too. What color scheme am I going to use? Not sure yet, but I have put thought into what it could be, but I haven't decided. But it'll definitely have some blues in it probably, because I like using blue, and it matches, it sort of complements Gabby's hair color. And There's another question. Red Silicon asks, if I was given the chance, would I work on Project Feline the movie? I don't know, maybe. Like, I feel like I would want no one else besides me working on the movie, probably. Like, I wouldn't want there to be a movie and me not to be involved in it. So, I would say, yeah, I guess if it was being made, sure, yeah, I would want to be involved. But yeah, I would think that it would be my idea in the first place to start it. Because it kind of sounds like being involved as in would I be invited to work on it. Which, that's just sort of how I feel, that's sort of the vibe I get. And it's like, yeah, it just feels kind of weird. But I would definitely probably be the guy to pitch it maybe if I wanted to do a movie. And, I don't know, try and work something from it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that might be a cool thing. But I think, I don't know. It depends on what kind of movie, I guess. Whether it's live action or animated. I think I'd like to do an animated movie. That'd be really cool. And yeah, I'd like to... Because I've done storyboarding and I've done animation before. And that'd be a fun little someday kind of project. I think that'd be sick. Rebel Levi, misread that, says, this is his first stream, but he's been watching Project Feline since the beginning. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I actually kind of forget. I actually had to go back and watch my first episode because I completely forgot what I talked about in it. But, awesome. That's great. I'm glad it's inspired you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait till this is done as well. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but I'm optimistic and I'm excited. But yeah, thanks for supporting the channel and supporting the stream, dude. GPP Andy says, oh no, that's just oh yeah, no, that was just him asking about the map. Now someone else asked a question. I think, did I miss it? Oh, Tala Yako says, how will the start introduce the game's mechanics? Well, that, I don't know. I don't want to do like a... I don't know. I reckon the mechanics are pretty intuitive already. Like, no one's really had any problems with them, but I don't want to make some hand-holdy bit. You know, I want to have something that's kind of challenging. So I don't know if this will be... I don't think this will be the first level, necessarily. But at this point, yeah, you kind of don't want to design your tutorial first. That's just like a general practice of game design. Because if you as the game designer don't even know the potential of your mechanics, you're not going to be able to teach them. So that's the sort of belief I subscribe to. So I'm kind of just creating levels, assuming that the player knows how to work the mechanics more or less, and then I'll worry about the tutorial at the end, probably. Once there's like every case scenario, once I know exactly what I need to prepare them for, then I'll teach them in like a tutorial. But for the moment, it's for the prototype. I'm not sure if that's a high priority right now. How do I schedule my day? That's a good question too. I try to schedule my day, but I kind of end up slipping into old habits of like working for like 4 hours straight and then like feeling tired. But yeah, no, I usually like, I wake up kind of late and I stay up really late. So I usually wake up at maybe 10 or 11, then I eat, and then I try and sit down and work I try to like do it in hour segments if possible. And I put a timer on for an hour, and then after the hour's up, I can then I'm allowed to stand up and like browse YouTube or something. And then what do I, yeah, so then I kind of just try to like work periodically, and then I end up like staying up till like 3 AM, and then the cycle continues. So yeah, I guess that's sort of how it looks. I try to schedule it in Google Calendar with like where my chunks should be, but I like never stick to it. So yeah, so it's difficult though. It takes a lot of discipline to really stick to a perfect schedule. So I've been trying, but it's not easy. But I try not to push myself too hard, because if I punish myself too much, it kind of becomes depressing, and then I won't want to work on things. So I try to give myself some slack here and there, and say, well, you did get 1 hour of work, and that's better than 0. So yeah, because some days it's just really slow, and I'm just really exhausted, and I might only get an hour's worth of stuff done. And I try not to like let myself get too down by it, because it's like, well, there's always the next day, and you know, at least you tried getting something done, and that's I think that's a huge problem that a lot of creators face, where they're either not disciplined enough, which is one problem, or they're way too hard on themselves and end up like punishing themselves for trying to work, and then they kind of end up wanting to give up on it, and they don't want to. It's not fun or fulfilling to work on stuff, and that's happened to me before too. So I try to be careful and not beat myself up over things, because punishing yourself doesn't help, I don't think. Like, it's good to kind of be self-critical, but you don't want to, like, unnecessarily, like, you don't want to give yourself no credit at all, I'd say. I guess that's something that I've seen a lot of people do, where, like, yes, they need to improve on stuff, but they don't give themselves credit for what they are doing right. And that's very dangerous, because then you kind of catastrophize things, and things seem worse than they actually are. So, yeah, that's just from my own experience. That's kind of something I notice from time to time. So I try to just, like, take it seriously, but not too seriously. Like, if I don't get much done one day, it's like, well, that's fine. Like, there'll be a consequence for that, but don't, like, stress over it, because you can always just try and improve tomorrow. And if you don't improve tomorrow, and if it's a long-term thing, then maybe try and incrementally, like, it's hard to implement massive changes. You got to do it in increments. And that's another mistake I see people make a lot, where it's like, I don't know, like it's like like when people try to exercise, right? That's an example. They'll like try and like give themselves like a full workout routine like straight away, and it's like, no, that's not going to work, because no one ever sticks to that, because it's a new habit and they haven't trained themselves into doing it, and it's going to be a massive, like, it's like jumping into a cold pool almost. It's just very abrupt, and you don't really feel inclined to cooperate with yourself. And it sounds very strange, but I don't think most people, myself included, we're not the kind of person to do what we tell ourselves to. Because, like, I mean, think about how many times you've told yourself, oh, yeah, I'm going to wake up this time, and then you don't. And it's funny, because a lot of people, I think, are in denial about that. They'll be like, oh, well, if I say I'll do something, I'll do it. And it's like, well, no, actually, you probably won't. And if you actually acknowledge that, it's actually very helpful. So it's like, instead of trying to resist the current, you're kind of going along with it. And it's helped me a bit, realizing that I probably won't do this if I just tell myself to. So I try to, like, say, all right, well, what's the bare minimum I could try doing that I could do? And that's kind of like a better question to ask sometimes. And then that's sort of helped me out. That helped me a lot with my burnout phase before Project Feline. And that's what got me back into the jam of things. And I've been so fortunate, I haven't really had I haven't had a massive burnout period in 2 or 3 years. So I guess it's working, I suppose. And if you guys want to, like, see what that looked like, you can just go on my YouTube channel, and I think I have a link to it in the cards down below. And there's like a video right before Project Feline, and it's kind of cryptic almost. It's kind of funny, but right before my first devlog, I had this video about how I was gonna get myself out of my rut, and I don't know. It was probably not a good idea to make it, because it could have completely backfired. But I was really lucky that it didn't, because I made a video like showing what my plan was to like get myself into making stuff, and then I made like Project Feline Devlog 1, and then I've sort of been doing that ever since. So I guess it kind of worked, funny enough. But it was sort of a matter of sitting down with myself and saying, all right, I'm not going to spend like 5 hours a day straight away. What could I do that I actually could achieve? It's like, well, could I do 30 minutes? Yeah, I could probably do that. So then I did. And then it's like, all right, well, could I do an hour? It's like, yeah, probably. It's just an hour. So I'm like, all right, well, that sounds easy enough. And then I would do it. So I kind of try and break it down and make it seem less intimidating. And then now I can work my way up to a couple hours or more at a time. So yeah, yes, that's like a funny little story, I guess. RZ Games. I might just call you RZ, because I keep seeing your name pop up all the time, and it's a bit of a... I think, yeah, just RZ sounds cooler, so I'm going to call you RZ from now on. But he asks if I have any memes of myself and Gabby, and unfortunately, no, I don't. I might... There's some fan art that's kind of like got some memes in it, I think. But no, there's none of me in them, though. What else? I saw another question. But yeah, no, focusing for like an hour is actually kind of like, even for me, it's kind of difficult. Because it's so easy, especially when you're not in like an office, because I'm just in my bedroom. It's so easy to get distracted. And that's definitely like, I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I've definitely, it's been difficult. And that's why I started streaming more. Because it was just, I don't know. I kind of found that I was getting more done on stream. And that's kind of weird, because usually I get more done off camera. But I don't know, yeah, so I've kind of been getting more done on stream lately. So I'm like, alright, well, I'll just like keep doing that, I guess. And, yeah. Hold on, let me get a... Okay, I just want to look at... So this is this staircase now that I'm building. Except I think... Well, yeah, let me just build it. Because there's like a little plateau in between. So I gotta make sure I put that in. Yeah, waking up early is a struggle, I will say. Sticking to a schedule's hard, but you gotta like train yourself into it. Thanks, Shadow X Storm, for the kind words. Going back watching my shader video. Gosh, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot about that one. That was a fun. I think that video. I think it was episode 20 something. No, it's episode like 14 or 15, and that one took so long. Like that shader one, that took me like 24 hours straight to edit, and that was like I think I only took a break to sleep, and then I got up and like I started. Yeah, that was painful making that one because I had all these visuals and stuff in there. And I was trying to be all fancy and have all like the character model rotating and stuff, and it was just, oh geez, I never want to spend that much time on that again. It was just so exhausting. But I mean, I guess hopefully it was a good video. I mean, it was. I think it ended up getting viewed quite a bit from what I remember. It was like one of my most viewed ones, so I guess it paid off. But Jesus, yeah, no, that was a tough one to do. Mostly because yeah, it's hard to explain something like the shader because like literally. There's like no resources on it. There's only like one talk by someone else on how it's made. So I had to like kind of use that and say, all right, well, how am I going to explain it? And how do I, yeah. So that was a challenge, but I'm glad that people are still watching those. But yeah. Nuclear says, school be like, do this for 5 hours or you fail, and then be wondering why students deprived and tired. Yeah, no, that was one of the reasons I decided to drop out of high school as well. Because yeah, I just couldn't. I don't think it was the schedule, but it was more just like I couldn't really see the value in anything we were doing, and I had so much interest in learning literally anything else that wasn't part of school. And I think I did a video about that as well recently. Well, not recently. It was like a month or two ago now. But yeah, no, it is kind of strange. I honestly do believe that in high school, like, humans are not designed for that kind of schedule, I don't think. I don't think that's the case at all. And there's like no, especially in like primary schools, I've noticed. Because, you know, kids especially, they need to play. That's kind of like how people learn as kids, I think. They need to be out playing and stuff. Like, I used to do a lot of make-believe play and stuff when I was, like, 8 and 9 years old. And I feel like kids need a bit more of that. Because, I mean, think about how hard it is to keep a room of kids contained, right? Like, they're all, like, they can't keep still, and there's a reason for that. It's not because they have ADHD or whatever. Because that's the current excuse everyone says. It's like, oh, they're just, you know, they have ADHD or something. But that's usually not the case. It's usually just, like, they need to be moving. Because that's how the body develops, from what I've read about, at least. And I haven't taught primary school kids. Oh, no, actually, no, I have taught primary school kids. I remember. I actually taught a short course for Unity for year 6 students, or year 4 students, or in between, I can't remember. And yeah, they were really hard to... And it was after school. Whoever organized it was an idiot, because they seem to think that, okay, after school, after they're exhausted, and after they're hungry, and after they've had a whole long day of learning, we're gonna put them in more learning and get them to learn Unity. And I said, yeah, no, I don't know if that's a good idea, but they did it anyway, and it was so hard to keep them focused. It was definitely a challenge because I would say something and they'd literally, I think I had my laptop and I was showing them how to open a project. I know, not even that. I was showing them how to use File Explorer because none of them were paying attention, and I had to go teach them how to open a file, and they didn't listen because they saw that I had Fortnite on my desktop, and they could not shut up about it. They were like, "Oh my god, sir, you play Fortnite?" And I'm like, "I mean, yeah, I have it installed." And that was the talk of the afternoon. And I'm like, "Guys, we have like half an hour left. We gotta like get some work done." But yeah, no, it was really frustrating. But I mean, I kind of don't blame the kids. I blame the teachers because they seem to have thought that, okay, well, 3 in the afternoon, after they're all exhausted and they want to just be at home, yeah, that's when we'll give them a class of game development, which is like probably the most complex class you could teach to a group of year 5s. So, yeah, no, it's definitely challenging. I don't think kids should really be in that kind of environment, to be frank. It's just very hard to focus. As for adults, I mean, I guess, I don't know, it might be bit more suited to it by then. But I've taught high school students too, and they're also very rowdy. Well, they were a bit better behaved at least, but they are still quite rowdy. I was trying to think of a story because there was this one student who always used to goof off. He was like the only student I ever had to send out of the classroom, but he was like a bit of a meme. But at least with those like high school students, you can at least attempt to treat them like adults and they'll kind of behave. But you can't really do that with younger kids usually because they just don't have the they're just not used to interacting. I guess perhaps it's because they're used to being treated like kids, and that might inhibit their ability to kind of be empathetic or you know, say, okay, maybe I'm taking my behavior too far, I should behave, sort of thing. Because sometimes, like, high school students have that clarity, and it's a bit easier to deal with that way. Because if you just yell at them, it doesn't work. You gotta talk to them like an adult, and then they'll actually behave. Which seems kind of counterintuitive, I think, to a lot of people. But it's actually worked. It's pretty funny. Anyway. So that's yeah, back on the main point. Yeah, no, high school schedules suck, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know what an alternative would be, so I guess it's not really a good, that's just sort of pointing out the problem. I don't really know what the solution is, ultimately. Yeah, hold on, I just gotta move this wall down. I gotta leave a bit more of a gap here. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some high school students in the chat, actually. So yeah, I don't know, you guys probably have your own more recent experience compared to me in terms of the schedule. I'm just reading some other questions that I might have missed. Frost Style says, I'm amazed at your level building, but don't you think it'd be better if you focused on creating assets for a good-looking demo? Partially. That's a bit of a thing that's quite a lot to unpack there. But ultimately, I kind of have both prioritized, but I was going to do that with my other level, where I was going to like flesh it out and make it very pretty. But then I realized that this design approach might be better, and ultimately I don't think I could live with myself if I was putting all that work into a level I would probably scrap anyway. Like, I kind of wanted to leave it at the block out and then try this block out and then make an evaluation and decide which one to finish. Because ultimately I think the game, like, I get there's an advantage of having assets and having it look pretty, but ultimately, I think the game needs to be good before I try doing that kind of thing. Like, I mean, I guess it's good, but it's not good enough for me. It's, like, not enough. I need it to be better. And you might call that perfectionistic, and perhaps it is to a degree, but I genuinely believe that Project Feline... I don't think I can fool people with the graphics, if that makes sense. I think people are smarter than publishers give them credit for. And I think what I would like to do before I show the game off in a Kickstarter or something, because that's something I've thought about, and I've put a lot of thought into the plan for what that's going to be and how I'm going to finish it and that sort of thing. But ultimately, I want to try and make as much genuine progress, like actual progress, as possible, because making models and stuff I don't really regard as like fundamental progress, because that's just kind of window dressing and icing. While it is important for sure, there's advantages, because firstly, you know, people will look at it and they take it more seriously if there's graphics. It also makes it more presentable. It also makes it for, you know, investors might find it more appealing to invest in, for example. I totally get all that. Like, that's definitely a priority for after I sort out which design philosophy I go with. Does that mean it's going to take more time? Absolutely, but I think it's worth the investment, because ultimately I don't want to spend time creating those assets and then throw them out and say, okay, yeah, this and then, because that also means if I show it to enough people and then I change it radically, then I think that's going to mess with people's expectations as well, because then they'll be like, oh, well, this isn't like what happened to the old level, like, what, you know. And I'm sure that's already happened to a degree, but at least it's happening early, and it's not happening after it's all polished and that. So I guess that's kind of my thoughts on that. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. Assets are important, but to me, the game isn't good enough yet to get to be at that stage. It needs to be better, in my view. And I don't want to take shortcuts. I don't want to just have people like it because it looks pretty. I want people to look at it even now, and then if they can say now, even if it's in its current state, that it looks cool and this looks fun to play, imagine how much better then it would be once I do have the graphics. Because then it won't only be fun fundamentally, and they'll know it because they see the gameplay, but it'll also look pretty as well. And I think that's the level I want to be at, where I have it shown off and that kind of thing. And I'm not at that level yet, because ultimately there's a lot of, I guess you could say this kind of game design. I mean, there's other games that have followed in its footsteps a bit. There's other games that have had similar development. But this development is particularly, I would say, experimental and incrementive. No, is incrementive a word? I think it is. I think that's a word. I don't know how many. I wonder how many of you guys have heard of Flower. It's a game by Genova Chen, designed by Genova Chen. It was by the guys who did Journey, which is now on Steam, actually. It was originally a PlayStation exclusive, but that game had a very interesting, not Journey, but Flower, had a very interesting design story. It was a whole 2 years before they finished their prototype, just figuring out what the hell the game was. And it's stories like that that kind of make me feel like I'm making the right choice, because it might not be right for every game after all. But because I'm quite new to this kind of thing, I would say it's a good thing that I'm trying to put thought into the more core things and not the superficial parts of the game. Because I was planning to just literally make something stylish and just do the wall ride mechanic. But then after playing it, I was like, wait, no, I have to do this properly. People aren't gonna get fooled by this. So that's why I've been spending so much time really trying to figure this out. And it's difficult, it takes its toll. It means progress doesn't look that rapid. But I think it all leads up and pays off to what hopefully will be a good final experience. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But no, that's definitely a good point. There's another question that I missed too. Livestream Sniper says, you needed to make a video series to get yourself to make a game because you needed content. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. But if you're wondering why I started my... it's not that I'm making... I don't know. I think what you're trying to say maybe is whether I'm making a game just to make devlog videos, which, I mean, I could make literally any game to make. I could do like what other YouTubers do, I suppose, and like do games in 24 hours and stuff. Like those crazy challenges if I wanted to make devlogs. But yeah, no, I think it was more. I started doing the videos because I wanted to hold myself accountable, and be like, okay, well, I want something to look at so that I can look back in like 5 months or a year and try and see how far I've come, and use that as motivation. Because it's really easy to be hard on yourself and say, oh, this sucks. But then if you go and actually like look at all the progress, it kind of feels like, all right, well, you know, this isn't so bad. So yeah, I might just actually just scale these all up, actually. There's a few more questions. Sorry if I've missed these. I was giving a really long answer to that other one. Yeah, a lot of comments about high school here. Yeah, but no, I myself would get quite drained in high school. Definitely wasn't my ideal environment. Also, yeah, like, I don't think in a lot of cases they really foster. Well, here's something I don't like generally. They don't really foster any sense of self-responsibility, I think, and that's something I noticed after teaching high school students and after teaching primary school students and after then teaching adults, because it actually doesn't prepare them at all for the adult world, I think, in my opinion as a teacher. So this isn't just out of nowhere. I think the schools, the way that's structured in the curriculum, I think it's actually undermining students a lot, in the sense that it's not teaching them to be personally responsible. Because if you don't hand in your assignment, then yeah, you'll get yelled at, but that's it. Like, there's no real consequence. And as a result, people don't really care. Like, I didn't give a shit at all near the end of my school years. And yeah, everyone was saying, but Ray, this will lead to a job one day. And I'm like, no, it won't. I can do heaps of other stuff to do that. I don't have to go through high school. And then well, that's ultimately what I did. I made my own path. But then yeah, they were all sort of telling me, you know, you got to take this seriously. I'm like, why? Like, this has no consequence. And it might do for some people, but that's the thing, is that I think for the mass majority, it's safe to stick to that, and I can get that sentiment. But then you do have those students that are an exception to that will want to do their own method and take their own journey. And that's something I don't think is encouraged enough, because everyone's different, of course. And not everyone's going to fit in there. But what I don't like ultimately is, yeah, it's that sense where, because you're not working really towards a meaningful goal. Because getting a grade, I don't think that's really meaningful, like, you know, deeply meaningful to anyone. And if it is to you, then that's pretty profound. Like, that's awesome. If you can build your entire life goal around your grades, that's pretty cool. I've never seen or met someone like that. But from my experience, it's usually a periphery for some other thing. It's usually like, oh, I want to get this grade so I can get into this course to do this job. And it's a really surface level analysis of what they want to be doing. Because I don't think people actually think about what they want. And that was my experience with a lot of my friends at the time. None of them had any idea what they wanted for their future. And I think school kind of gives you something to do in the meantime, but I don't think it ultimately solves that problem. And it's and it only seems to cause problems for people who actually have figured that out and they know exactly what they want. And school kind of undermines them for that, and it doesn't really help. That's sort of been my experience. And also, I was gonna say, also, when you don't hand in a school assignment, I don't know why they even bother trying to like make you feel guilty about it, because that doesn't help. It really doesn't. It just makes you feel like crap. It doesn't actually motivate you to want to do it next time and do it better. It just means that, oh, if I don't do this, then I'm going to get yelled at, that's not really a strong motivator at all. It's an appalling motivator. What you'd want instead is people to look forward to submitting it for whatever reason. And that I would see then manifest in my more mature students, because a lot of people I taught were older than me, surprisingly, but I didn't tell them that. But they were all like 5-6 years older than I was, and all of them had only ever done high school. And then when it came to doing assessments for me, and this was like post high school, in like tertiary education where I taught, when it came to me and they wouldn't hand an assignment in, Because where I was teaching, there isn't a consequence. It's like if you don't hand in an assignment, then that's it. You just don't hand it in and you fail, and that's on you. And I kind of wish high school had that approach, because then I think it would make people a bit more conscious and take it more seriously. Where it's like, we're not gonna beat you and scold you, or well, not beat you. That doesn't happen anymore. But you know, we're not gonna like give you a hard time. It's just that's your problem. Like if you don't hand it in, then that's your responsibility. And if you don't want to take it seriously, then fine. Then no one else will take you seriously, kind of thing. That's sort of how I would treat it in tertiary education. As a student, that's how I behaved. I always took it very. I always took accountability and said, if I don't hand this in, no one's gonna give a shit, which is good and bad. It means no one's gonna like give me a hard time. It means I'm letting myself down, which I think is more important than letting down my parents or my teachers, right? Because then you're kind of putting yourself first, and then it actually, if you do put yourself first, it actually matters to you, and that actually I think is a much stronger motivator than just trying to please people, because then you're trying to actually do something for you. And I don't think that's fussed, and it's a real shame, because I see so many students go through that, and they just don't care about themselves, and I always find it so puzzling, because I'm just like, why? Like, it's you, it's your whole life, you should care about this, but no one's ever given them a reason to, and I get why, I see it, and it's really sad. So yeah, it's it's difficult, because then when they grow up, they don't understand what accountability is, and they'll try and blame their teachers for if they fail. Like if they don't hand in an assignment, they'll think that they can ask for an extension, and I always tell them no, because they have heaps of time. And I said, you guys, you just got to manage your time better. Like I'm not gonna cut you slack. Like you're in the real world now. Because if you want to get a job, you know that won't happen. You know, you got a deadline, and if you don't meet it, then you're fired. But yeah, no, because then they grow up and they can't manage that kind of stuff, and it's a real shame, because it's almost like they went through all of high school and didn't learn anything. So I would kind of hope that I think that's more of a thing in universities too, where that's sort of the case, where no one really cares. It's just kind of like, all right, you do your assessments, and if you don't hand them in, fine, whatever, and if you do, fine, whatever. And I think, I don't know, there might be an argument against having that in high school, probably, but I think it should be there, absolutely. Because then it teaches people, hey, you know, they get to make their own consequence out of it, and if you know, it also means if they don't want to work, then fine, they can just not do that. I don't really see why. I don't know. I don't want to say it's like coddling, but it kind of is like coddling, I'd say, in a lot of cases. Whereas, like, you know, like there's parent-teacher meetings. I don't know if you guys have that in other countries, but we used to have those. And my parents were so confused because they didn't have that back when they were in school. And it's like, yeah, it's usually you'd only ever call the parents when something really serious happened, like medically. But otherwise, you just, you know, it's none of their business normally. And I kind of don't like that. I think it definitely makes things like helicopter parenting very rampant. But I mean, I'm no parent, so I probably shouldn't comment on that. But anyway. Yeah, so my views on high school, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming from someone who didn't finish high school, but ended up teaching high school students. I know, we're a very weird story, very weird circumstances, but yeah, that's sort of what my experience has led for me to believe. And I'd like to say I'm a living example of what it is to take accountability, and not to like toot my own horn, but I was quite, well, not quite. I was like from my tertiary education, I was the most accomplished student from our cohort. You know, I was in the newspaper a few times. I was interviewed a lot. I was basically the poster child for the campus as well, and I was there to promote the courses. And I ended up working there eventually too. So, and that had nothing to do with anything I learnt from high school. It was just me going, like, you know, I want to learn game development, and if I don't learn this, then I'm letting myself down. And that was like my motivation, and that kind of that's what got me through my studies, and it ultimately worked. It worked really well. You know, I graduated with very high distinctions, and all that. So and I'm not here to just brag about that, because I mean, who cares? It's a qualification, but it's sort of there to kind of illustrate that approach works, because I've done it, and that's why I find it so perplexing that isn't really talked about as much. But I don't know. I guess it doesn't work on everybody after all, because I think it relies on you knowing what you want, and that's very hard to figure out, especially at like 16 years old. It's very difficult, and I don't know why that isn't necessarily. I guess doubt might have something to do with it, but I ultimately don't know. But I don't think putting students in like classrooms for 5 hours straight is helping with that in particular. So yeah, all right. So okay, so other people have those parent-teacher things too. Yeah, I don't know why, but we did, and my parents never liked them because because my dad's quite educated, and he was usually smarter than the teachers in most cases, and it was a little embarrassing because no one likes having that know-it-all dad, right? But no, he actually like knew the content better than the teachers and would have to correct them all the time, and they really hated us because we were the only parents that would ever complain to the school. And they really didn't like us at the end. It was so funny almost. But yeah, my dad would always be like, oh yeah, so you marked this wrong. This is actually how you meant to do it. Because he's actually quite educated. He's written books on mathematics and physics and electronics and all sorts of things. So he was always kind of putting the teachers to shame. And then there was also then my mum, she's kind of like, I don't know. She like talks to me enough to know that I'm doing fine when I was in school, and yeah, none of us had any real confidence in our teachers, so we would kind of go in treating it like a joke because we're all like, yeah, let's just like get this over with, and we'd always like try and, I don't know, make funny observations about each of our teachers. Like I had this one teacher who had this really funny haircut, and he would like gel it as well, so we would just point out things like that normally. But yeah, that was basically the beginning and end of those interviews. And yeah, as a teacher now, well, previously, because now that I've done some teaching myself, yeah, I really don't see a point to those at all, because it's just like, yeah, like, I don't know, it just seems really weird. Like, parents aren't the ones in the course. I don't see what, unless there's something really serious, I don't really see why they need to be involved in every step sort of thing. Because you want to be treating them like adults by then. Because if you have the parents there all the time, constantly checking, it kind of undermines their independence, at least in my opinion. Maybe, I mean, yes, sure, I guess some students definitely need that guidance and help and support, but I don't say that's everyone. I'd say that's maybe a small minority. But yeah. But it's interesting. I haven't really put these thoughts out before. I haven't really explained or said this to anybody, so this is all kind of just thoughts I've had accumulating over the years. Let me get my reference picture open. I gotta start building like the rest of this. But yeah, no, it's very strange. I guess I have a kind of a unique perspective as like a high school dropout who taught high school students and taught like adult students and taught, I mean, I mainly taught like adult students like in their mid-20s, but yeah, I did have a class for 2 years of like 16 to 17 year olds doing their year 12 high school certificate, which was weird as well because I never did my high school certificate, but like it's so easy to do. For when you're doing IT, they literally ask you. I remember having to go through an exam with them, and they had things like, what is the control panel? What does RAM stand for? Like questions like that. So it's like, yeah, it's not a hard subject to teach. Anyone can do it. Everyone, like if you've used a computer, you can pass the course easy. But yeah, I guess given those circumstances, I'd like to say I'd have a kind of a unique perspective on that whole ordeal. How did I get a teaching position? Well, I don't know what a GED is. I'm not sure if we have that in Australia. I got my position after I dropped out of school and studied at a vocational training institute for a couple of years, and then I did so well that they wanted to hire me on the spot. Like, I aced all my classes, and we don't have grades, it's just like you either fail or you pass. Like, it's just a binary thing, but then they can give you like high distinctions if you do everything perfectly. And I got, I think, high distinctions in 5 subjects out of, I can't remember how many. But I was getting those distinctions mainly in project management and I think it was just project management and like 3D modeling, that sort of thing. I didn't really learn much there, unfortunately, which was a shame. It was actually kind of crap. Like, it was really poorly run, but I had been already doing Unity and Maya for like 5 years beforehand, just as a hobby. So I kind of knew what I was doing when I enrolled. And I was just there for the qualification. But I did it in about 2 years. I did like 3 courses in 2 years. And then immediately afterwards, I think I was still enrolled, and they were like, "We want to hire you to teach these classes." And I thought, "All right, cool." And then I did that for 2 years as well. And yeah, so that's kind of how it happened. It was kind of strange. I was very lucky. I'd say luck was involved a lot, and being in the right place at the right time. But yeah, no, it was definitely a fortunate opportunity. I was glad to have had it. Ultimately, though, I ended up leaving due to unfavorable circumstances that I can't get into. But yeah, it's if anyone's on stream who knows me personally, they'll know the story. It's a bit of a saga. I could almost turn it into a book out of how much stuff happened there. But no, I was very lucky to have taught. I'm actually wanting to perhaps go back someday, if possible. If this doesn't work out, at least. But yeah, no, I didn't have a high school certificate. I didn't have any of that. I had a high school diploma, which is like it's like the bare minimum, really. But I know I got the job mostly. That wasn't a prerequisite. You just need to know. You need to have qualifications, at least at the level you're teaching at, and a teaching qualification, which I managed to finish as well, and through an online course somewhere, I think, over several months. And I was teaching, what was I teaching? Well, yeah, I had done education levels a bit higher than high school. Like, I hadn't done the end of high school, but I went and did like an advanced diploma, which is like above high school. So that qualified me to be able to teach anything below an advanced diploma. So I taught a certificate 2 for my high school students, and I taught a certificate 4 and a diploma class in my prime, when I had like three or four groups in 1 week. So yeah, it was quite a handful. A lot of names to remember, that's for sure. But yeah, no, it was pretty fun. Advanced. I don't know what advanced play. Oh, like a ROSA, yeah. Like I had a ROSA when I finished. When I dropped out of year 10. But then, yeah, the 2 years afterwards, I spent getting I had an advanced diploma in screen and media. After I dropped out. So by the time everyone was doing their HSC, I was finishing my advanced diploma. And it was kind of not really an advanced diploma, but that's like a whole saga on that. It was really sketchy on how it was run, but I basically knew everything anyway. And that's, if you go to my itch page, it's not available for download anymore, but if you go to the link down below where it says Play Project Feline, if you go to my profile, you'll actually find another game on there. And that was my student project from my advanced diploma. And we took that actually to a few places. It actually got played by, I don't know if any Australians here remember the show Good Game, or Good Game Spawn Point. But I used to watch that growing up, and it was a really good show. It had Hex and Barjo, who were the 2 hosts, and they were like these cool gamers that would just review games. I think the show's still going, but the hosts both left a few years ago. But right before Barjo left, I was at an event with him at a Global Games Jam, and he was there to promote the event, and I was there participating. And he actually played. We did an interview together, and he played my student game. And I don't think that it was on a live stream. I don't know if it's still up anymore, but I saved a few screenshots from it. But yeah, I met Barjo from Good Game. He's a really cool dude. He's really chill. I think he's doing streaming now, I believe. And I've watched the streams a few times. But yeah, no, he was really chill. Like, I was really nervous, but he's so used to presenting that he made it very fun. But yeah, I don't know if anyone here remembers that show. Oh, nice. Some people do. Hell yeah. Good Game Squad. Yeah, no, I really missed that show. It's really awesome. I used to tune in and watch it when I was like 11, and I'd write questions to Darren the Robot, that sort of thing. Actually, I think the first question I ever sent, they didn't answer it, but the first question I sent into the show was what asset ripping was, which is kind of ironic now that I'm like, you know, dealing with asset ripping problems myself for my game. So I, it's kind of funny that how that was like the first question I sent. But yeah, no, it was really cool. And then I was doing another event. It was an online event, and the trailer for it was actually done by the other host, Hex. So I've technically kind of done things with both of them. I haven't met Hex, but I was doing an event, like a virtual summit event last year, and the trailer was done by Hex promoting the event, and then I was one of the panelists. So so it's kind of weird that how I kind of ended up getting that opportunity. It's very weird. Do I plan on release? I just answering a question from Freddie Jure. Do I plan on releasing the game on consoles? I don't know. It's a bit too early to say. I'm researching it, but I can't make a definitive answer to that question at the moment. Yeah, sorry, I can't give a detailed answer to that yet. I really don't know. But hopefully that, I don't know, gives you something. It is on Windows and Linux at the moment as a demo, as a prototype. So yeah. Wait, they replaced the host? I didn't know they did that with good... Because I knew it was running, but I kind of didn't think about who the new host would be. Well, that's so weird. Like, Arms Sam Edie here says that his parents banned him from watching it after they changed the hosts. That's so funny. But yeah, no, good times that. Good old ABC. But yeah, I was going to say something else. Can't remember what. I think I was answering another question about what my qualifications were. But yeah, no. But here's the weird thing though. Ultimately, because yeah, with the advanced diploma and all that, I did it. But ultimately, I don't think qualifications really matter at all in this field. Because I've worked with people that are technically way more qualified than me, but are way worse at their job. And that to me kind of says more than anything. And I'm currently, I've taught with people who had like a bachelor's degree, but had never made a game before. And there's really no, like, after making a few games myself, like there's really no substitute for experience. So if I'm ever working with someone, I never care what their I don't give a shit. Like, you can have whatever qualifications, but unless you can actually do something, then I don't care, usually. So that's another thing, I guess, worth noting with that whole circumstance, because this is for game development as well. That kind of story wouldn't work for something like medicine, for example. Like my little backstory there. Like, you couldn't drop out of school and do medicine. I don't think it's not as realistic in that field. But for game development, I think absolutely it is, because it's really based on what you can demonstrate, not what you can, put on a sheet of paper. So yeah, and that's probably a reason I don't think I'll ever, a lot of people have asked me about university before, and that's probably one of the reasons I think I've said why I'd never do university for game development, is just because purely, I think, from the friends I know at university, none of them have really done anything close to what I've demonstrated. There's some really accomplished uni students out there, but I don't think it has anything to do with uni. I think it's just because some students are really talented who also go to uni. And I don't think it's anything to do with the uni itself. It's more like they're already very skilled. And most of them have been practicing for years, and that's usually what seems to be the case with the people I've met. So that's sort of how I decided, I'm kind of just going to do my own thing and, just make games. Instead of learn to be a game developer, I'm just going to be a game developer and see how that goes. And I guess it's been doing okay at the moment. How many people showed up here? We got 40, 49, 50 people that that came to watch me make games. So I like to say that, I guess I'm making games, so I guess that does make me a game developer. Because yeah, I've definitely been told the contrary before. I get told a lot, you know, in the past I was, you know, like, oh, you know, you don't have a degree, you're not worth it. And it's like, really? Because, yeah, you know, I like to say that making games is the more important part in that equation. Like, if you make a game, I'd say you're a game developer if you've made a game. Even if it was a small game, even if it was made in a day, I'd say if you make a game, you're a game developer. It's like if you draw a picture, you're an artist. If you make a song, you're a musician. Does that mean you're a great musician? I mean, maybe not if it's like your first song, but you're still worthy of the title. You know, and then maybe after a few years, you can then be known for it, so... Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting really sidetracked with this whole floor bit. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I don't know why I'm trying to build around the staircase, but I need to elevate. I gotta elevate this whole bit, because this whole bit of the ground is raised. So yeah, I've been kind of trying to adjust it, and it's very difficult, because the real location I'm based this off is kind of built funny, but yeah, so I'm gonna try and emulate this and see if I can build that a bit better. But yeah, I might need to refill my coffee mug soon. But yeah, no, just reading some chat comments here, yeah. But yeah, no, like, yeah, so my story, I like disclaim and say, yeah, that kind of only really works for specific fields like art or music or game development. It won't work for fields that require specific, you know, degrees or whatever. But yeah. God, I hate doing this where I have to clip objects into each other, but I have no choice. I must do it. Might change out my song as well, actually. For those who are new to the stream, I have my... what is it? I have my devlog music, which is all Creative Commons license. Because if you probably know there's this whole Twitch controversy that happened the other week. I've never been affected by it because I always use music I'm licensed to use. But then in my headphones, I play my own music so I don't get in trouble. And then I was listening to Jet Set Radio Future. And I've been listening to the same song on repeat this whole time. So I might change it to something else. If you want to listen along with me, I'll show you the song. Because I can't play it on stream, of course. But I've listened to that music, my Creative Commons music. I've just listened to so much, like I can't listen to more of it. I've been using it in my videos for years, and I've just listened to it so much. I'm like, I need something else. So I don't know what I'm gonna pick. I want to quickly pick out something. Oh, no, not sure about this one. Damn it, can I pick out something? Come on, Ray. Pick out a song. Maybe... I was listening to this last night. Let me just scrub through and see if I'm in the vibe for that kind of thing. No, not in the vibe for it. Not in the mood for that one. I mean, maybe one of these? I guess I'll do this one. This one's not bad. Some old Gregory Essayan. I'm not sure how big he is, actually. I was on his Facebook page, and the guy's like doesn't have a lot of activity there. So I was like, huh, I thought more people would have heard of him, but I don't know. Maybe that's just from his Facebook. But yeah, I think I talked about that last stream with the whole Twitch thing. I don't know how many people... most of you, I think, were there for it. But yeah, with the whole music thing. Because I'm always very careful. As a creator myself, I respect the rights of artists, as I think has been demonstrated in the past. But the whole Twitch thing with the music, because I don't know, there's like there's something where everyone's complaining about how, oh, DMCA are coming and they're gonna like take it on all these years of clips that on my Twitch channel. It's my history, and they feel kind of like personally attacked by it, I'd say. At least some of them, at least. But I don't think, it's kind of a flimsy argument because all of the music is unlicensed, so they're kind of in their full right to do that. But anyway, yeah, that's like a whole issue there. But no, it's just kind of amusing to watch from the side. Because I don't think anyone... I kind of always operated with the assumption that people knew how licensing worked, and I think that was foolish of me, because people don't, usually. I just seem to know about it because I was curious about it since I was, like, I don't know. I was, like, when I was, like, 7 or 8, I used to use Microsoft PowerPoint to make vector artworks, and I wanted to make my own game case. Like for the PS3 game case, because I wanted to put my own artwork in it, because I just thought that was really cool. And so what I would do, I'd get my game case out, and I would actually like copy and paste all of the fine print on the back, and I would type it out, and make the back of the case and the front of the case. And then when I started copying more cases, I started actually like reading similarities on the back, you know, what copyright meant, what trademarks were, and then I started looking all that up and trying to figure out what that all meant. Because I wanted to write my own ones, and then that's ultimately what I do now, of course. But yeah, no, it's funny. I guess that kind of helped me out a bit. But yeah, I'd like to say that most people probably haven't done that, and they spent their childhood having a bit more fun. So I could understand if they don't know how, like, what DMCA does and how it's not greed. It's more just setting a precedent for licensed music. But yeah, no, it's not like a, yeah, no, it's not as simple as I think people are making it out to be. But anyway, what's my favorite anime of all time? Asks Ozzy Games. I don't know. I don't really watch that much anime, to be honest. Let me think. I've watched a few anime films. I'd have to say, Makoto Shinkai films are amazing. I love those. I'd like to say he's probably like my favorite director. But as for specific anime shows, I don't know. I'd say probably like Death Note. I've watched that one. That's a classic. Really love that one. And then as for anime movies, maybe like Your Name or maybe like a Hayao Miyazaki film like Spirited Away. I like that one too. But yeah, no, I should probably watch more of that. There's so many shows I have to watch. Like I'm the guy who like doesn't watch anything, and all my friends have to like, you know, remind me to watch like. I've got a friend who's been begging me to watch like this Clone Wars series for years. I have a friend who wanted me to watch, I don't know, some other. I used to have this guy in my high school. I was very close friends with the head of IT when I was a student, because he was like kind of a gamer, but all the other staff members were boring, so he'd just come hang out with us. And he would always be like telling us to watch stuff, and it was like his catchphrase. So we'd always have like pictures of him with like the impact meme text, because that's the kind of memes that existed back then. And we'd have him like with his face saying, "Oh, you should watch X," you know, sort of thing. And that was like his catchphrase. Every time we'd see him, he'd like, "Oh, have you seen this? You should watch it." And that was like all he would ever say usually. But yeah, no, I gotta watch more stuff. Oh, Mafuya's got something to say about my my high school story there. Yeah, because I think you're in high school, if I remember. You're like coming to I know you had exams and stuff, I think. And you also do like a lot of stuff on the side, so I'd be interested to hear what he has to say. He says, Mafuya here, who's my moderator, and he's a real cool dude. He says he's done composing and music, playing the piano, making digital and traditional art, taekwondo, and game development. I actually didn't know he did taekwondo. That's really cool. He says, I'm totally glad with my decisions. I didn't drop from high school, but I didn't really make it my main focus, as it was not helping me with what I've been aiming for. Currently, I'm 1 year late for university, and I'm still at home, but I'm very glad with what I've achieved. Yeah, well, dude, yeah, I've seen what he's done too. You've definitely done a lot. Like, you're quite young still, I think. You're younger than me at least. And you've like done so much cool music stuff, so I'd say absolutely 100%. But yeah, everyone's path's different, of course. Like I don't want to like use my story as a like you should be doing what I'm doing, because there's definitely downsides to what I'm doing. So yeah, but no, that's like yeah, it's good that you're happy at least. Like that's what's important ultimately, is that you're happy with what you got. And yeah, if I was you, yeah, I'd be heaps happy. Because you can like do some you're really talented. You can do some cool stuff. But yeah. Just looking at other anime suggestions here. Aussie Games says Champion Joe and Lupin the Third. I don't know what those are. I've never heard of those. Yeah, contrary, I know that I do a lot of stuff in the anime art style, but I've like barely watched any anime, so I don't know what that makes me. I don't know if that makes me like if that's like a cardinal sin, or I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. But I do watch a lot of. It's weird. I'm like the kind of guy. This is sort of how I treat games as well, right? I will watch one show like 500 times, and I like stick to the same few shows. Like I've watched like Star Trek Next Generation twice, and I'm watching it again because I just love it. It's so good. And like Breaking Bad, I watched that twice. What other shows have I watched a lot of? Like IT Crowd, I watched that quite a bit. Yeah, things like that. So yeah, I'm like, I kind of like don't, yeah, I kind of just watch the same things over. Like, same with my games, like I just play the same few games over and over. Like I've played Crysis 3 like, I don't know, 8 times maybe. I've played like Sonic Generations for like hundreds of hours. I've played, what else? I mean, yeah, a lot of stuff. Played like the Mirror's Edge camp. Well, I've only done that once actually, but I've played like Titanfall 2. I think I've played that twice. Yeah, I can't think of more examples. My brain's starting to get fried. The sleep deprivation is getting to me now. But yeah, I just gotta think for a moment. I don't know what I'm doing with this gap. I don't know what this is meant to be. Do I have a photo of this? I didn't get a photo of that corner. God damn it. Silly me. It would have been nice if I got a photo of this corner, because I don't know what this is meant to look like. I mean, let me see what I can do about this. I don't know if that, I mean, I guess that's fine, yeah. Leave that as it is. I might go get a coffee refill soon, because I'm so tired, I'm so sleepy. So I need more caffeine in me. I'm just gonna like quickly do a check so I know what to work on when I come back, because I'm like my brain's just kind of floating around at the moment. Okay, so what do I have? I have this section. I need to block off this somehow. I need to put a ramp leading down here, and I need to fill out this. So I think I'll work on that when I get back. So yeah, I'm gonna like take a 5... I think it'll be quicker than... I actually tried timing myself when I went to refill my coffee last. It only took like 2 minutes. So... Alright, now my mug's empty. I'm gonna go get a refill of this. Oh damn it! If I was still selling these, I'd plug it, but nah, limited time. Maybe I'll bring them back someday. I should do another design, perhaps. I'd like to do another design soon of these mugs. But yeah, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'm just gonna go refill my mug, so I'll catch you guys in like 2 minutes. Hey, 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 I'm back. Got my coffee again. Feeling a bit more awake now, so... yeah. Let's get back into it. Hopefully I didn't make you guys feel too lonely. Hopefully, yeah, everything's still good. Hopefully my audio's not broken or anything. Alright, let's get back into it. I was gonna do something. I can't remember what I was gonna do. I was gonna, yeah, I was gonna keep working on that down bit. I was gonna make sure I save my map first. Very important. Alright, okay, so it's over here. I was doing some stuff. I think. No, wasn't here. Oh no, maybe, was it? Oh yeah, so it's down here. Alright. Okay, let me think. I think I might have made an error. No. Yeah, no, sorry. I was gonna say, I was wondering if whether that elevator was on the other side of the staircase, but no, I got that right, so thank goodness. Three tabs open with the same stream. Nice. Very cool, Mindcube Twitch. Very cool. Thanks, the Discorded Soul for the follow. Oh geez, sorry. My brain's still kind of sleepy. Maybe I might go back to the 7 PM slot next time. I'm just, I'm so tired, but got work to do. So usually this is like when I'd wake up normally, like 10 in the morning. So yeah. So yeah, my body's not used to this at all. Alright, so yeah, this is like a weird little bit up here. I think what is, yeah, so this like kind of, it like kind of intersects, like this like goes up, and then the other bit like goes down, like from up here. So, I mean, I don't want to like focus too much on that area, because I want to like bar that off and have the player not be able to go there, because there's not really much to see. And if I don't have boundaries, I might as well reconstruct like my entire area, which would be not fun, and I'd have to reconstruct the entire planet by extension, and it's not an open world game, so I might not do that. Alright. So I'm just trying to get like a rough idea for these little paths. I think I gotta bring this closer this way. What have I done here? Okay. I might just leave that block over there for the moment. Actually don't, that's like the road, and that kind of goes down there, so I don't know how wide I should be making this. Well, I mean, that kind of, I have a bit of a rough idea from that map idea, so maybe like that wide? Maybe an extra little unit. Yeah. Hell Gang. Maybe that, yeah, maybe that should be the name. I haven't figured out like what to call my subscribers or followers, but maybe Al Gang. That might be fun, because like none of us sleep. Earthly Bump asks, hi Raymond, would you happen to have any in-depth courses? I'm afraid not. I'm not a teacher anymore, unfortunately. I used to teach courses in Sydney, but I do not have any courses of my own at the moment. Yeah, I'm not really a teacher anymore. I'm more of like just a developer, I guess, sharing this journey. So no, I don't have any courses at the moment, just videos. But yeah, I've had that suggested a lot to me though, over the years. But yeah, no, I'm not sure if that's something I'll go after necessarily. But I am looking into perhaps going back to teaching, but that it'd be like not an online thing. It's like at a specific campus. so that I can, I don't know, it helps me survive. So I don't know, it's something I'm looking into. But yeah. Am I thinking of putting Project Feline on mobile? No, not really. I'm not really a mobile gamer myself. I've been getting asked that a lot, and I don't really get what the appeal for mobile is. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure, like, it's gonna be a big challenge to get it running on mobile, I think, and I'm not sure if that's something I'm quite prepared for. Yeah, I was kind of making it more with PCs and maybe like consoles in mind if I'm lucky. But yeah, I don't have any specifics on that yet because that's like a whole. Yeah, I don't want to be like the kind of dev that just says, "Oh yeah, it's coming to this" without actually researching it. So yeah, I wanna like really think about it and put thought into it before I really definitively say where it's coming out. All I can say though is that it is currently available on Windows and Linux. For the prototype build, and it seems to run well on both. I haven't tested it on Linux myself, but I've had a few people in my Discord help me with bugs testing and stuff. There's a few visual glitches, but apart from that, it seems to work fine. It seems to run, so yeah. But I could always use more Linux testers, so I don't know if there's anyone here with Linux in the audience. If you want to like try downloading it for Linux, that'd be great. I have a link in the panels down below where you can download the game for free, or the demo for free. So yeah, because I'm not a Linux user, I have no idea how Linux works, so if there's anyone who like knows how, you know, I'm like one of those guys that's like, what's a Linux? What is that? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know much about it. But if any of you are a bit more experienced, I'd appreciate input on the build at the moment for Linux. Well, yeah, that's the thing too with mobile gaming. I get it's a big market, but it's like, I don't know. I'd like to think that, like, I'm not sure if this is like a kind of game I want in a market that big. I don't know really. Like, because there's so many things that constitute a mobile game. Like, you know, Clash of Clans is a mobile game. Sudoku is a mobile game. So I don't know exactly. I reckon the kind of market I'd imagine is someone who's probably not going to play this. Like, it's probably like, you know, like my mum perhaps would be in that demographic or something like that. Not putting them down, of course, but I just don't think that's quite what I'm going after. Like I myself don't look to mobile for video games. I go to PC or console. And that's just sort of how I experience games. And that's kind of what I want to try and bring the experience to, I guess, because that's sort of like what I would like. But yeah, I don't know. Like, again, like I can't really say. It's we're still very early in the development cycle, I'd say, and it seems weird because I honestly don't know how early or how late. But like, I think the project's gone through some chapters. I'd say it's hard to really it's hard to distinguish when one chapter begins and one ends. Because we had like the initial prototype chapter, and we had the character model chapter. Or maybe story arcs is like a better word. I like to kind of feel like my journey has kind of gone through a few arcs like that, but it's hard to really say where the beginning and end. Well, the beginning, of course, is the first one, but it's hard to say like how far in we are. I really don't know. Because I don't necessarily like saying that it's still early in development, because I don't want it to be one of those games that's like in development hell. Because it's been like 2 years, and it's definitely a bit of a red flag when you're like, oh yeah, this is still early. But no, like there's definitely, I definitely have a comprehensive plan as to realistically how much time I'd like to continue investing in certain areas. But ultimately, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to say anything prematurely. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about mobile, to be honest. It hasn't been on my mind at all, really. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday, but I'm not really. I think there's other places I'd like to bring it to first before, if I ever do bring it to mobile. And I don't know, just out of, I guess, principle, I suppose. One thing I do get asked a lot is whether it's coming to Mac. Excuse me. And that's a difficult question to answer because, like, I used to be a Mac user, and I know like how it kind of sucks how there's like no games for it. And I used to really hate every company that would never release games on Mac. But now that I'm using Windows, it's like I see the other side, and unfortunately Apple make it very difficult for people to develop on Mac if you don't own a Mac. And I own one, but it's like broken, like it's on life support. Like I have this old MacBook that I used to use in high school, and I've had that for like 6 or 7 years, and it's just it can't hold a charge. The disk space is like full. It has like 3 partitions on it. It's a complete mess of a computer. And until I get around to repairing it, then I won't be able to compile for Mac. And it's a big job because I basically have to reformat the entire drive and reinstall everything and reinstall the OS, reinstall all the programs I have on it, because I have some really expensive tools on there. What else? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I have to do to it, and I also need to get the battery serviced. So it's just not been a priority for me right now, because like that'd probably take weeks to do that right and make sure nothing's broken. And I'm like, well, I could just keep working on the game, so that's what I do. So yeah, I do apologize though for the Mac users out there that have been very patiently waiting. But it's something I'm more looking into for release, because yeah, I'd like to say maybe for release that might be a thing I look into, but probably not for the prototype, just because, you know, it's like it's just going to take a bit too much time for me to get that working right. Because then once I, of course, fix the Mac, I have to install Unreal on it and figure out how to compile with Xcode and all that stuff, because you need like a certain tool to do it with, and it's kind of, they don't make it very easy at all. So and then I have to test it, of course, and the specs on that can't run the game. Definitely, they definitely won't be able to run it. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of tricky, and this is all running on DirectX too, and Mac doesn't have DirectX, I'm led to believe. So uses OpenGL, I think, my one. So yeah, I'm not. It's a big job, and that's something I want to look more into once I've got a more comprehensive demo. So yeah, someday I'd say Mac would be more of a priority than mobile for the moment. Just because well, yeah, out of the two, I think Mac would be easier to do than mobile, because, you know, mobile has a bunch of other input, and, you know, you got to make a new input mode and that kind of thing, and yeah, you got to change the UI scaling and a bunch of other stuff, optimize shaders, and, you know, a lot of stuff. But yeah, so that's sort of like, yeah, I guess my reason for why it's not on Mac yet, because if it was easy, if I could compile to Mac on this, I would, but I can't, so yeah. So yeah, that's sort of like the story on Mac there. Hopefully that doesn't upset too many people, because, like, yeah, I understand it, that, like, I was a Mac user. I understand, like, it's kind of sucks a bit. But yeah, no, it's like, there's not much I can do about it, unfortunately, which is a shame. So yeah, anyway, I just gotta open up another tab here quickly. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna look at my reference again as well, because I'm trying to, like, for those that are wondering, I'm trying to, like, build this section up, and it's a little tricky, because it's like, I where these yellow bits are, these barred things, I kind of don't want the player going there. Like, I want to kind of bar that off, and that's going to be like the edge of the level. So it's going to be like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to bar that off. So it's going to be interesting. Because I don't want it to just be artificially, like, you can't go there for whatever reason. But I don't know. It'll depend. Maybe I just have cars coming through here all the time, and if you go here, you get run over. I don't know. that could be an idea too. But yeah. So I'm trying to, like, just build that bit going down, so that we at least have some kind of something there, so it's not just empty, right? But yeah, ultimately, it's kind of challenging. Also, I think this needs to come across a bit as well. I think. And perhaps this needs to be taller. But yeah, it's very interesting geometry. It is kind of weird to comprehend sometimes. So I do get a little confused by where I put some of these shapes, as you can probably tell. But yeah, hopefully I can like get this to work somehow. I do have ideas, because I do have some enemies and AI and stuff that I programmed a few months ago, and I want to use those drone enemies perhaps as like something to run from. I wanted to do something where the more collectibles you pick up, because I want to have collectibles in the map, but I wanted to have it so that when what was it? So like when you collect more collectibles, more enemies will spawn in and start chasing you, and that'll give you like something to make the level a bit more challenging, I'd say, because I want to use those enemies for something, and I thought that'd be kind of cool to try out. And I've just realized too, I gotta move this back, because that's gonna like run into this train line, which isn't good. So let me move this, because that kind of, yeah, it's a bit funky, this geometry. And I gotta move this over. What else? Just looking at some other pictures here on my other screen. Alright, so yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting. I'm not sure how this will translate one-to-one, but now we've got this little bit. And I think I've made this definitely too high, because any normal human is going to hit their head on that. So that's that's like not very good, is it? So I might need to do something about that. I don't know how high that should be actually. Maybe this should come lower. So yeah. Let's see if she can walk under here. Okay, well that's a little better. A normal human might be like 50 centimeters taller. They could still probably hit their head on that though. Okay, I actually no, my bad. This. Damn, I'm so confused. Okay, I think what I might need to do perhaps is instead, like have something like this down here maybe. So it comes down to the ground again. Which would kind of make sense, because like this kind of bit's all elevated, and I don't know why, but it is. And then like it kind of should come down back to like where the road should be. So yeah, and I don't know how long this is supposed to be, but I think we'll just leave it at that length at the moment. So yeah, I might need to move that down, maybe? I don't know. I mean, that's a bit more realistic, because you won't hit your head on that. But this needs some work. I gotta put a railing there too. I might do that soon. Move this higher. And I guess like, yeah, actually that needs to be wider as well. But then I need to like, yeah, I need to put some kind of building in this place, so that'll be interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Oh Jesus, what's going on there? Oh, okay, it's just this. I'll need to move that. Okay, I've got to move all these up. That's going to clip through the ground. Did I get it all? I think I got it all. Oh, almost. There we go. VexFX asks, what am I building? I'm building a level. I'm building a train station slash shopping area based off this location from the real world. So yeah, I'm turning this into a level. Thought it'd be a cool idea. And I'm building like these sort of back alleyway parts that kind of, and this, yeah, so here's like a, yeah, so this back bit here, this all kind of leads back into the main station bit, like this area. So that's kind of cool. So I will need to... let me think. Because, yeah, I'm not quite sure how... Oh, okay, wait. No, I have, like, an idea, I think. Maybe no, actually... Yeah, okay. So this needs to be wider. And I can cover up these other bits with stuff later. And then that comes here, and then something like that should go here. But it's... This is a... Yeah, it's a tricky turn, because it's kind of like... This... I don't know what's meant to be obstructed. I think that should come there, maybe. And then the road kind of goes that way, so... I guess what I'll do is I'll just, like, have a block like that covering this. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how to... Yeah, I don't know how I'm just... I guess I just won't worry about this bit for now. Because yeah, this I kind of want it to be blocked off. Even though it's like a whole street going up this way, but I don't want you to be able to go there. So it's going to be kind of weird. But I'll figure that's more of like for an art thing, I think. But if you go back through the alleyway, then you end up back over here. And you end up here. And there's a massive hole that I need to fill over here. Yeah, there's like, I left a huge gap here that I gotta cover up. So I'll do that. Oh jeez, don't do this. Okay, there's just a bit of a gap. No problem. And then this needs to be slightly smaller. Does that still fit? I think it still fits. Oh no, it's too wide now. There we go. And then I'm gonna cover that up with a wall. So I might cover it up with like this shape. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird corner, but we'll worry about that later. Gonna cover up the other side too. Oh no, that's covered up. Sweet. So now we can we could try to like wall ride ourselves around to the other side. Oh damn it! I fell in the tracks. I gotta build the platforms there too at some point. But yeah, so I should be able to like run. Yeah, then we can get over to this bit, and then we could try and maybe go down the alleyway there and get around to the other side of the eating area of the restaurants. Ah, oh no, I almost fell down. Damn it! Hold on, I can still try and make it. Ah, there we go. And then boom, we're back here. Apparently there's a whole bit on the top here that I've never been to before, but there's like a whole terrace up here that exists, so I'm not sure if I'll put that in or not, because I don't have any reference for it. But yeah, so here we are at the beginning of the level, sort of like where I started working on it. There's this whole bit here too that I should work on too at some point, but that might, I don't know, I might do that next time maybe. I gotta add those railings on those other stairs. Oh, where were they? Oh, they're down here. Here we are. VexFX asks, am I able to scale these boxes without the UVs getting stretched? Well, yeah, this is part of this Supergrid starter pack. It's from the Unreal Marketplace, and it has like a tiling material. That's why I use it. It's very handy. Athlete Bump asks, do I already have a map of my level when I start blocking out? Well, actually, yeah, that depends. For this specific level, because this is based off a real location, I'm using map data that I've gathered from a bunch of sources to construct it. So this is a bit different. This is a very different approach to what I normally do. I've never done I've never done a level this way before, so it's quite interesting to do. But my previous level that I did in the last video was a I didn't have a map. I kind of just started blocking it. What I did have though was I did have concept art that I sketched for that one, which I don't have for this one as well. So yeah, it's a very different method. But I did a bunch of these like sketches for the other map I was working on. And that I have this map in the latest build, so if you want to like check that out, you can. And those were the sketches, and then I kind of just like pieced together like something, and I just kind of made it up as I went. Trying to pay attention though to things like pacing and that kind of thing. But for this map, it's a little different. I'm kind of just constructing it, and then I'm gonna like do some modifications to it, see if I can make some areas more fun. See if I can like, yeah. And the game mode's kind of different too. Like this level has different rules. So instead of like getting to the goal and doing it quickly as possible, it's like you have a time limit and you have to collect things as quickly as you can. I haven't put the collectibles in yet, but I have the programming in place for that game mode. But yeah, it's a very different approach, this one. But it's something I wanted to try out before I moved on to other things. So yeah, reading some other questions here. Leonardo da Vinci asks, from what I know so far, the level objective is to collect money by exploring the stage with a time limit. Yeah, more or less. And it's, yeah, they would be kind of like Pac-Man, I guess, where you've got like authorities that chase you. And I guess for that, I mean, yeah, because I had those enemies programmed from the previous build, and I kind of didn't use them at all in my other map. And I thought, well, I'd like something I can do that also uses those enemies, because they don't really feel that dangerous in the other game mode. Like, you can kind of just ram into them, and it's fine. But I wanted something more menacing that made you feel more vulnerable. And this sort of game mode was, like, kind of fit that. And it also, I think it kind of tells a better story, too. Like, a lot of people have been asking what the story for the game's going to be, and I don't know. But I want to take the approach of being able to tell a story within a level without the use of cutscenes or anything like that. Just purely through gameplay. And it's difficult to do in my previous stages because there's not really anything happens. You just kind of go from A to B. But in this stage, you have a time constraint and you have a goal to collect things. And the collection of things also relies on your... And it relies on your parkour moves and ability. And I was skeptical at first as to whether this would work, but I get the feeling it could because I did have collectibles in my previous maps, and people seem to enjoy those. This map, this has collectibles in it, but they're kind of laid out very abundantly. And I thought, would it be cool to have like some ones that were a bit harder to get to? Because I think people liked collecting them because you had to like use the movement in a specific way. You needed to have precise control over yourself too, and I think that's something people like. So I was skeptical because it's a new type of level, it's more open, and I was like, is this going to ruin the pace? But I think on the contrary, I think it actually provides a much better pace than what I was able to do with these shorter maps. Because these are very short, these ones, and they're not really paced out very well. And that was a problem I had with the later map, where this one, it was so hard to pace because there wasn't enough mechanics to facilitate going from A to B for a solid minute. And, or 2 minutes, I think. That's how long it takes to finish this one. Like, there's so many fast mechanics and there's not enough stuff to kind of slow you down. And you need that. And I thought it was stupid to try and slow down the player, but it's actually a very necessary thing for pacing. Because if you go fast all the time, people don't engage and it just gets boring. It's like the Sonic Boost to Win titles. The only way they keep you interested is because they have these flashy spectacle moments. And those are expensive. I don't want to make those. Like, who would, right? Like, if you're in my position, you don't want to spend thousands of hours and dollars on creating these spectacle moments. You know, like in Sonic Unleashed and stuff, where you've got robots chasing you and camera cutscenes and all these stuff that is really only gimmicks. They're not really doing much gameplay wise. You're just still holding the boost button. It just gives you some pretty thing to look at while you press boost. And I didn't want to take that approach because it's difficult and expensive. And I wanted something that would kind of work without me having to pump a lot of effort into creating these cinematic spectacle moments. And this level was interesting because I kind of think I got some things right and some things wrong there, but it's hard to keep people interested. But with a level that's more open, I think it allows people to kind of take more out of the stages, right? Like, instead of just rushing through it, you actually get to explore it a bit, and you spend more time in it. And it kind of justifies spending that time to build the level, right? Because it keeps people playing longer, which is good, because I want people to be able to have some fun with it. I don't want it to them to just put it down after 30 seconds, right? Because that's usually not good. If people don't want to play your game for more than 30 seconds, then you've got a bad game. So I wanted something, that could kind of give you something to do, and it also kind of, it gave you a challenge for your parkour moves, and I think this environment kind of works to accomplish that still, even if it's bigger and different than the other ones. So so that's some more insight on that. I'll probably talk about that in my devlog when I get around to doing that in a more comprehensive way. But yeah, I'd like to have, like police and drones and that kind of thing kind of on chasing you, and I think that kind of adds a conflict to the game's story. And I don't mean like, the game's story, but like from a level to level basis. When you tell someone about what happened in your playthrough, you actually have a story to tell, where it's like, oh yeah, so I was playing Project Feline, and then these cops showed up, and then it kind of gives you an event. Whereas in the other level, you just kind of like, oh yeah, so I was playing Project Feline, and I got to the end of the level, and it's like, whoa, it's like, sorry, it just sounds so boring. Like, it's weird, because as the developer, I should say that, of course, I should be not saying anything negative about my game, but I do think it's not as interesting. I think having events happen to you could be more, it kind of tells more of a story than I think cutscenes could. And cutscenes are expensive as well, and I kind of want to see if I can give that feeling of story as much as I can without having to pump that much resources into cutscenes or that kind of, those sorts of expensive things. It's kind of like when you play through like a Skyrim and you're in a quest, and the quest has an objective, but then something unique happens to you while that happens, and you kind of get to tell your own story of it, It's like you're making the story, and that's something I kind of think this has more of the opportunity to do. It's not necessarily I want to copy that one for one, right? But it has more of that in it, which I think might be healthy. It's more variables, I guess. There's more things that can happen to you. And there's more ways to finish the level too. I mean, the other one had shortcuts, but I had to make them. Whereas with this, you can collect the collectibles in whatever order you want. And there's more freedom for like... and everyone was asking for it too. Everyone was like, are you going to do an open world? And I was really intimidated by that, and I was like, hell no. But this is kind of like semi-open, I'd say. I wouldn't say this is open world. But something, I think it's weird when I listen to player feedback. Because a lot of the time... And maybe some developers in the chat might agree with me here, but a lot of the time players don't really tell you what they think, which sounds really strange. But they don't quite know how to communicate what they're saying a lot, and that's something I do as well. But it's usually they're identifying a problem, but it's very often that they'll like misdiagnose it, but they'll still be on the mark in some degree. Like, for example, getting told, oh, I want an open world. What I think that's not what they're saying. I think what they're really saying is I want to explore. Which an open world can do, but there's also other ways of doing it. And I think that's kind of the challenge when listening to feedback from people, is that they usually don't know what they're trying to tell you. And there's a message there, and you need to figure it out, because they won't tell you straight up, because they don't really know how to articulate it themselves. And you can't blame them. Like, most players aren't game designers, and they don't understand how there's different solutions to solve a problem. Because players usually only see the solutions, they don't see the problems. They usually see, oh, I've played a game that had open world, I think that'd be cool. And that's a very surface level way of seeing it, and they could be right if by blind luck you could be right about it. But I prefer taking a more analytical approach and saying, well, like Mirror's Edge, for example, is a game I get compared to a lot, and that game had a clamber mechanic of some kind where you can grab up on ledges. And a lot of people were suggesting that, but it wasn't because it would work in the game. It was because, well, Mirror's Edge has it, you should do it. And I said, I mean, yeah, it could work in the game, but I don't want to put it in because this other game has it, because that's a very superficial reason. I want to put it in because it actually solves a problem my game has. And maybe there's other ways to solve it. And that's how I came to the decision to decide to work on that mechanic in the first place. And I haven't started work on it yet, but I'm planning to that's kind of led me to plan it, to want to have that kind of like a ledge grab in, for example, that I have to get around to still. But yeah, it's not just me saying, oh, well, this other game has it, I'm going to put it in. It's more like me actually trying to diagnose a problem that could actually be solved by this, and it would actually be a good solution for my game, not for Mirror's Edge, right? Because I'm not making Mirror's Edge. And that's something that, you know, you have to kind of train yourself to do that. So it's very unrealistic to expect player feedback like that, because it's very specific and you really have to know the game in and out. So it's not that I'm saying that, you know, people aren't giving feedback correctly, because they're not. Any feedback's good feedback. But it's just when you're a developer, you have to learn how to interpret it differently than you would otherwise, and that's very interesting. So with open world, for example, yeah, people think they want open world, and not quite. I think what they want is exploration, but they think that means open world, if that makes sense, because they've seen that in their games that they've played. And it's like, yes, that might be the case, but, you know, I'm not making the games you've played. I'm making a new game. So you have to really sit and really take that feedback seriously and try and say, all right, well, what is it they're actually trying to say here? Because they are saying something that's valuable, but it might not be what's on the surface. I guess that's sort of my concise way of saying it there, I suppose. So yeah, that's it's something I've learned to do over the years, and it's been very beneficial. And I think I'm very lucky to have the support I do. But yeah, of course, then there's that challenge of interpreting that feedback. What does it actually mean? When people say they want, like, even the animations, right? That's something I still get criticism on. And people say it's the frame rate, but I've actually diagnosed the problem. It's not the frame rate at all. It's actually something else that makes the animations look kind of unfinished. And I'll probably get into that another time. But it's not the frame rate, because I've seen examples of games with that same technique that don't get criticized for it. And that's kind of what led me to deduce that, well, it's not that, it's got to be something else. And sure enough, I found that it was. It's more about how the actual character moves, but that's like a whole other topic. I have to like get into animation theory for that. Yeah, so I think, yeah, but like open world games, yeah, because that's such a broad thing, right? And that's the other thing too, is that some feedback's very broad, it's not very specific, and you kind of have to chip away at it until it becomes something tangible. Because yeah, open world can mean a lot of things. It's same with you know, when people say anime style or stylized, that also means a lot of different things. You know, there's different styles of anime, and there's different methods and approaches, and it's all very yeah, there's a very deep rabbit hole on basically every bits of feedback you can get. Like yeah, I remember there was another bit of feedback too, something about the character's speed. And that was an interesting thing to interpret as well. And I think, yeah, anyway, yes, that's, yeah, so it's a very interesting, like, process to go through, trying to evaluate and, yeah, well, it's more like a comprehension thing. You kind of have to learn how to comprehend feedback differently. So, yeah, back to, like, the main point, though. Yeah, so my interpretation of open world, for me, is not open world, it's more like exploration in something that's semi-open. I think that kind of does this, it delivers on the thing that I think people are looking for in the game, but in a less expensive way, because developing an open world is going to be such a pain. And also, yeah, open worlds can also suck. Like, they can also be really bad, especially if it's one person making it, and I definitely know that would have been the case if I had tried that, because I'm not gonna pretend that I'm this paragon of you know, game design. I definitely know my limitations, so I know that I won't be able to do an open world like Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Like, I just can't do that. I'm just not good enough at level design for that. But even so, I actually kind of preferred the first Mirror's Edge compared to the open world one. I actually preferred the original. I don't think the open world was that good in my opinion. So if they struggle with it, what makes me think I could do it better? I'm one person after all, so yeah. That's sort of another thing to consider. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly fix up... excuse me. I'm just going to quickly fix up this little area. And then I might call it a day. Because I'm probably going to go back to bed after I get off. Yeah, I might, maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think of the stream time? Because I'm not really used to getting up that early, but if you guys, if it's more convenient for you guys, then I'll stick to that time. I'd like to know any feedback or thoughts. I think we've got about the same amount of people here that are normally here, or maybe a little bit more. We got like 57 or so people. So it's a little more, but yeah, I don't know. Depends on if it makes that much of a difference. I really don't know. Just reading some chat questions. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna end at probably the time I would start with a stream normally. Yeah, Dave GXN says about the ledge grab mechanic. I haven't implemented it yet, so I'm not sure if it's really. It could be a bit too soon to diagnose it with problems yet because I haven't built it. But he says that it might slow down the game, and yeah, I think that's kind of deliberate. And I used to think it was a bad idea, but then after doing some more study, and after doing more research, and after analyzing some other games, I find that mechanics that break, I call them pace breakers. And those are actually very important in a game. I used to think it was weird that Mirror's Edge, for example, had these vents that you crawl through, because it kind of felt like a very slow thing, but there's actually a very important reason those exist. And the game would actually be worse without them. And a lot of mechanics like that. So, yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but I think I've done enough analysis to make that decision that it would be a good idea. But of course, we'll see when it's implemented. But I want it to feel good. Like if it feels good, but I want it to feel. I don't want it to feel like it slows you down, but I do want it to, in essence, or it'll help you traverse other areas that are slower, like vertical areas. By essence, will slow you down because it's vertical. Like if you have a huge thing you got to climb, yes, it's going to be slower, but I think a ledge grab can make that feel more satisfying to get through. And I think those areas would be important because you can't just be going forward fast all the time because it's just hard to really make that fun. I mean, it'll be fun in moderation, but not for extended periods. And that's something I didn't notice with my other levels, because my other maps were only about 30 seconds long, and you can't notice those flaws. But if you make a level that's anything longer than a minute, then the flaws start to show. And that's a very interesting thing to look at. And you go, oh, I didn't notice this. This is interesting. And then you try and repair it. So yeah, yeah, I think I might, for the next stream, I think I might go back to 7, because I think I'm just more awake. So so yeah, I might do that next time. Because yeah, I like my sleep schedule is just not synced up with this. So yeah, I might go back to the other one where I'm a bit more alive. I'm just gonna quickly add in a rail here, and then I might call it a day for now. Where's my grind rail asset? Yeah, I can't even find where I put my stuff. That's how tired I am. There we go, grind rail. So this needs to go here. That needs to go up here. Hopefully it's not too tall. Oh, that is too tall. But yeah, I won't get into the ledge grab idea too much now, because again, I should probably just shut up and make it. I don't really see there's going to be much of a point talking about it. I'd rather just show you guys when it's finished, and then we can pick it apart and see what's wrong with it. But I'm excited to get to that, but that's going to come a bit later. I think I explained in a video somewhat recently about my approach to deciding to whether to continue mechanics or work on the levels, and there was an important reason why I wanted to work on levels, because I just didn't have any inspiration for the mechanics, and I think if I construct a level, it'll give me ideas on what other mechanics should be in the game. And ultimately, yeah, that's what happened. After I started building the other map, that's when I had the idea of maybe some kind of ledge grab or something like that. And I just couldn't think of what to add or what to take away without that context. Because if you just make mechanics in a vacuum, it's hard to really know what fits because you don't have any environment to test it in. So yeah, it makes it difficult because you're kind of just in a void trying to guess what would be fun in a level without actually having a level. And that's basically it, mainly. So I'm going to keep working on the levels and then come back to the mechanics maybe later in August or something. I was planning to have this all done already, but yeah, no, nothing ever goes according to plan. I was planning to have my other map finished by now, and it probably would have been if I kept working on it, but you know, your game development is hard to plan. You know, stuff comes up all the time, and I think it's hard to really stick to a plan if your goal is to try and make the best thing you can, because you always improve. And there's definitely going to be a limit to that, and I'm going to draw the line somewhere, but I think I couldn't ignore the opportunity to try a level like this at this time, because this could fundamentally change how I build the rest of the game, and I think it's very important. I think things that might come later down, you could probably like skip over, like if it's something like a bit of polish, you know, you wouldn't really necessarily halt development for like a special effect. That's a bit less of a priority, depending on what it is. But for something as core as how levels are built, I think it's something I think it's worth a delay, I suppose. It's worth, you know, spending a few months or a few weeks on, because it could fundamentally change the course of everything, and I think that's a very important thing to figure out. Alright, so I've got that. Actually, yeah, I've got the rail in. That took quicker than I thought. I think I just need to move it over a bit. There we go. Actually, how many rails are on those stairs? Okay, there's one on each side, so I might copy paste that. So we got 3 of these. Whee! There we go. So now we can grind on those. And yeah, I'm just gonna quickly just go around and make sure I didn't like leave anything that's sticking out or something. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go back to bed, even though I've just drinking like 2 cups of coffee. But yeah, but that's an interesting, you know, maybe someday I should just do a stream where I just chat for a bit instead of trying to work at the same time. Because I have a lot of built-in thoughts. Like, I think and analyze constantly, and that's one of the reasons I can't sleep. But I think I might have some interesting thoughts about this that I don't usually share on my videos, because the videos are more, it's not about me, it's about the game. I usually don't like talking about myself in my videos, but on stream, I think by nature I'm just more candid. That's usually how streaming is, right? But yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts about the game in the 2 years I've been working on it. And for things like, oh yeah, someone said, like, yeah, polishing as you go and taking time. I have some thoughts on those sorts of things. Like, polishing as you go definitely has limits, I'd say, and it also has advantages. And it's like really interesting to kind of figure out how much time is too much time and that kind of thing. Like, yeah, like like people say as well, like, take your time, but I also don't think I should, if that makes sense. Like, I think I should also, you know, get the game done at some point. You know, make it finished, not perfect. But I also, yeah, at the same token, I think it does need... Yeah, that's something I'd really like to know and learn more about, I'd say. If there's anything I think I want to understand more, is when to draw that line of you're spending too much time on something. I think that's something that's like my one weakness that I've dealt with in the past. And, that's something I'd like to, I guess, like, go into a bit more. Because there's definitely examples of games that have spent way too long in development and are in, like, development hell. And that's, like, what people don't realize is that that's so, it's really easy to fall into development hell. I don't think, unless you've developed a game, I don't think it's very... When you've made something, then you kind of realize, oh, yeah, like, you realize how easy it is, because it only takes, it doesn't take any effort to get into development hell. Or, no, that's not right. Not that. It's like, all it takes for development hell, I'd say, in most cases, is a lack of regard for time management, perhaps. Or not a lack of regard, but like a low priority on time management and perfectionism, which is very easy to chase. I'd say, for a lot of people. And then on the other hand, of course, there's games that rush and they end up being really bad, and you know, people look at it and go, oh, this, you know, like Sonic 06 I think is a great example of a game that was like rushed out the door, because the director left halfway through. They'd split the team in half, and then they were trying to make the Christmas deadline, and it was just a disaster. And it's like a tragedy how, you know, that game could have been really good if it just was in development for another year, right? So, because there's no right answer, but I'd like to very much know the criteria of where to draw the line between it's, you know, it's like not ready and it's been spent too long on, sort of thing. I think there is a line. I'm not sure where it is though, but yeah. That's just an interesting area that I don't see people talk about a lot. Like, a lot of people talk about games that reach those areas of both sides of that spectrum, where they're either rushed out the door or they're in development hell forever. But there's a line that I really want to learn more about, of like where do you draw the line between it's been too long or it's been too short? And I think that depends on each game, but I think there's criteria for every game that you could apply to decide for each game, sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, that'll be, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll just do like a just chatting stream sometime. I don't know, that's something I've thought about. But yeah, for now though, I think I'll make sure everything's saved, and I'll give you guys one last look at the level before I head off, because I'm sure some of you dropping in might want to see what this is all shaping up like. I'll turn on the game mode too. So I've got this collectathon mode. Oh, no, I don't want to make a new mode. I want to use an existing mode. Collectathon mode. There we go. So if I spawn in, you see there's like a countdown timer going from 3 minutes, counting down. And I've got orbs 0 out of 5, and I need to change that number to something a bit higher. I'm thinking I might have like 50 collectibles or 20, I don't know. Not 5 though, 5's too easy. And then health as well, because I want you to be able to take some damage. And I might reduce that, because you have 100 health points, because that's just the number I set by default. But I think maybe taking 3 hits, then you game over. I don't know. Just an idea. I'll experiment. So anyway, here's like the part of the station, the train station area. And you can kind of go up these stairs. And then above the station is like this little eating, like this sort of series of restaurants. That you can like grind around and stuff. And I want to put some collectibles throughout here, and I want to, I don't know, I need to put more obstacles in here for you to interact with. Then there's these stairs that go back down to the station, that go back down here, and then there's a whole area up here that I haven't made yet. But then let's go back up those, and we'll go to the area we're working on today. Then we've got the alleyway that kind of leads back into the station, but goes around the back. And I want to put some cool things here so that you can wall right up the buildings and get to some cool area. But then, yeah, then you can end up going back into the main station bit over here. And there you go. So that's kind of like the level so far. Yeah. I just missed a notification. Team Talima, sorry, I'm butchering that name, is now hosting me. Oh, thanks. Awesome. I don't think I've ever been hosted before. I'm still quite new to Twitch, so I don't know what all that means, but I appreciate it. Thanks. But yeah, I'm just reading some other questions here before I head off, because I know some of you got some cool things to say. Inner script says, what helps me to decide that is make a score based on exposure. So like controls. If they... Okay, I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, buddy. I don't know if I can read that out correctly, but... Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there. But yeah, is there anything else? I remember there was another question I think I missed. Actually, yeah, no, to answer Mafia's suggestion there, I think I did do a few drawing streams once a while ago with Photoshop, but that was also kind of difficult, because like it's hard for me to talk and work at the same time, as you probably would have guessed. And I remember I think I spent like 4 hours trying to just draw like a very basic sketch, and I kind of got nowhere with it. So I don't know, maybe. I don't know, yeah, but yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of something on the back of my mind, really. There's one more thing I just want to check in this level. I think I might have fixed it, but I remember there was a massive gap in the train platform. I think I patched it. Yeah, okay. Because this was like a huge, there was like a huge gap here that I think I fixed. So that's good. Nice. But yeah, so this is all, I think this area is like all finished. I just got to do the back area and then the back area over this way. Because there's this whole bit up here. You go up these stairs, and this is all empty still. So I gotta build that bit, and I want to see if I can maybe do that, like by... when would be a realistic goal? Maybe like, well, what day is it? Maybe like by next... I said I was gonna have the video by this Friday, but no, this needs more time on it still. So maybe on the 26th, I want to try having a video out. So maybe I'll spend like... Monday and Tuesday, like finishing the map and like having it sort of the layout there, and then maybe Wednesday the collectibles, then Thursday, Friday on the video. So that's gonna be the goal I stick to. But anyway, I'm probably gonna head off now. So I'm just gonna check if there's anything else I missed. I don't think so. Leonardo da Vinci. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm so thankful that there's like people that having that community there. I guess it's overwhelming sometimes because I'm very introverted. I kind of like off camera. I'm usually like very shy and I don't really like leaving the house. But no, I appreciate it a lot. People who come and watch me and all that. And yeah, I just hope to keep making stuff and seeing how that goes. And making people inspired, I suppose. It seems to be, yeah, a lot of people have been saying that they've been inspired, so that's really cool. I never really pictured that. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, so that's probably going to do it for me today. I'm just going to like finish this little bit of coffee here so I can do my outro with all my energy. All right. So thanks all for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I might do one more stream of this, maybe. I don't know. It is kind of exhausting. I'm not sure if I should just like work quietly on it, or maybe I'll do. I don't know. I'll see what I feel like doing. I'll probably maybe take tomorrow off just to like, I don't know, sleep or something. But I appreciate you coming on. Make sure to join the Discord channel, linked in the panels down below. You know, if you join the Discord, you'll get notified when I go live because I tag everyone and say, hey, come hang out. We're doing a stream. I also post game updates there and devlog updates there. And yeah, and if you're watching the stream and if you've like never seen me before, I actually do have a YouTube channel, linked down below, where I actually have these nicely edited videos of what this all is. It's like a more cohesive, less fluffy version of what I'm doing here. Where I explain things properly. So if you want to check out a more well-explained version of this, go check my YouTube channel. And is there anything else? I don't know what else I have linked down there. Oh yeah, huge thank you to our donators too. Thanks to Mindcube Twitch once again. I really appreciate his support. He's been like supporting just about every one of my streams with his very generous $20 donations. So I want to give a huge thank you to him. It really helps me out. And yeah, I think that'll about do us. So thanks all, and also thanks for everyone who follows the channel too. And if you haven't followed yet, and if you're just watching and that you don't have the follow button clicked, I don't know what you're doing. Being stupid, that's what you're doing. So you gotta hit that follow button, and you can be part of the follow gang, I suppose. And then you'll get notified on Twitch and on Discord when I go live, so you get double notifications. So yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you all. And I will. I'll see you like maybe soon. I don't know. I'll see what I feel like. If I have the energy, I'll do another stream. If not, I'll see you in my videos. So yeah. So have a safe weekend, guys. Have a safe. Yeah. I don't know what time it is wherever you guys are watching. It's probably different. I was gonna say have a nice afternoon, but yeah, that might only apply to some people who live at a time where it's in the afternoon. But yeah, hope you all have a good day. Thanks to Azure Roman numeral, don't know what that is, can't read it, damn it. But thanks for following. He's part of the follow gang now, hell yeah. And I'll see you guys later. So yeah, see you guys soon. Bye bye.